Hey guys, welcome
Hey.
to Pretty Killer Podcast. I'm your host, Jordana, and tonight I am joined by my core four besties. Guys, say hello.
Hello.
Hi.
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 Hey.
So I have Aubrey from Podcast Killing Time. I have Macabre Maddie, and I have Mark from Mark Loves Horror. My
Yay.
Hi.
my three horror besties. Yes, yes.
Yes.
So
So
happy
good
that
to
we
be
get to
back.
finally, yes. Uh, coming back from Vegas, you got to do something pretty cool, Matt.
Yeah, I did. Got to go check out the new It escape room for the chapter 2 that they did. And I'm not a big escape room guy. Usually it's just kind of like, oh, you're with a bunch of people you don't know doing puzzles that like only like two people know and everyone else is just like, why are we even doing this?
They just follow your
And
lead.
yeah, and like there's no urgency in any of it. It's like, oh, you're just against the clock or another team. It's like I don't care. Like I'm on my own time. So this is really fun because it mixes like a haunted house with an escape room. So there's definitely a sense of urgency. And the people I was with, we all got a pretty decent scare at least once. So highly recommend it.
Awesome. It looked awesome. The
Yeah.
pictures that you had were like pretty impressive. And I think I would be like in that moment, like super excited and to feel like you're in Derry.
They did a really good job. Like a lot of they had people from WB there who were basically saying that they pulled out archive stuff and gave them concept art to help build the sets. So
Oh, nice.
it's a really good production. And I'm not, obviously I'm a little biased because they invite us out there, but at the same time, like I would pay to go do it if I was in Vegas because Vegas can get like really expensive if you do what most people do in Vegas, gamble and drink, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, that too.
Yes.
Plead the fifth, but um, so yeah, there's just like a lot more to do in Vegas now if you want to do something else, and they have two other escape rooms there, one for the Blair Witch and one for Saw. So
Ooh.
The
um,
Blair Witch, I'm telling you what, that would be super exciting too, because
Yes.
the Blair Witch scared the shit out of me, and that would just be creepy.
Well, I just feel like I'm too dumb. I've been invited to do these things, but I'm so fucking stupid that I just it's not my vibe. So, you know.
I like panic stress. Like in a situation, if it's the pressure's on, I get so like jacked up and I fuck up.
I get like the opposite of urgent. So like when something's like really like people are like freaking out, I get really calm.
Yeah.
So I'm like able to be like, oh yeah, let's just look at that thing. And also like I just like picking out patterns and shit. I don't know. I might be on the spectrum. I'm not sure, but like
Well,
like
that means that you just need to be on our team. So I would definitely pick you to be
Yeah.
on the team.
yeah, I'm not always right, but I'm always trying.
There you go.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Exactly. But so do you guys want to talk about your shows? I mean, there's a lot going on here because you guys all individually have amazing accounts, just like party voices in horror. So why don't we start with Aubrey? Why don't you tell us about your podcast?
Yeah, I run the Killing Time podcast. You wouldn't know that from my handle because it's backwards, but hey, whatever. Follow me at Podcast Killing Time. I keep it really fun. Like that's one of the reasons I've been drawn to this core four is like it's just real horror fans, like just having fun with horror. So
Yes.
really laid back vibe. So if you like what we're doing here at the core four, you're gonna love it. Mark's been on an episode. Definitely gonna have Maddie and Jordana on sometime. Was taking a little break, made a little resurgence. So excited to be back. Do a lot of top 10 countdowns, really fun, interesting things. And of course, Mark picked torture porn. So if you want to listen to our top 10 torture porn movies, yeah, it's a ride. But other than that, I mean, anybody can come on. If you've never had podcast experience, like I was scared to start it. So come
Yes.
on. I have the infrastructure. So just email me. We'll pick a date and time and, pitter patter, get at her.
Exactly. It's nice to have people that are like so open to have you on because podcasting can be extremely scary and like not nerve-wracking intentionally, but you just feel like there's so much pressure. But it's so easy talking to you guys. That's why I love when we get together because it's effortless, just flows.
It's like kicking it with the girls at the mall, checking out boys, but we're checking
Oh,
out
yeah.
horror, you know?
Yes.
As long as we get Annie Ann's, I'm there. I'm there.
Period.
Yeah.
Get the
Yes.
Cinnabon.
pretzels. Yeah.
I'll vouch for that torture porn episode. You can almost hear Mark losing a little bit of his innocence as you go through your picks. Like you can just hear like a loss. Like there's like it's almost like you can hear like some sad music in the background. Like part of his childhood is just like been violently murdered, buried, and like now it's come back as a zombie, so he had to shoot it in the head and then rebury it. So it's like
Yes.
super traumatic.
Yeah. Like once you're a guest on Killing Time podcast, your love for horror changes and you become a pretentious like
Yeah.
asshole. So it's great.
Telling you. I'm very versatile, people. If you don't know me, I have a twinge of pretentiousness.
Yes.
But you know, my friends here keep me grounded, and I just did an episode about Lumberjack Man, so I like to get my hands dirty too. I mean, I love shit like that. I love a great bad movie, so check that one out at Our Life in Horror, and check out Lumberjack Man if you haven't seen it. It's a supremely great bad movie. If you want to watch Michael Madison fight a demon lumberjack that's putting your innocent blood on his pancakes at a church camp to gain superpowers, it's like leans fully into how ridiculous it is.
What?
That sounds like if you took all the movies on Tubi and put them in a blender.
Yes, 100%.
Yes.
But it's like, I'm telling you, it's so much fun. It's bad, but it's good.
Is it on Tubi?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know where you can find it. Maybe, but it was like a straight to DVD just Jim.
Okay, so like Jeepers Creepers 3 or what? Reborn.
Better than that because they like lean into how funny it is, and all the people that made the movie were like video game developers, so like they get away with like really good practical effects, and like the VR looks pretty bad, or not VR, but the computer generated stuff looks bad, but it's so much fun. If you like movies like Zombievers and stuff, it's like right up that alley. It leans more into the comedy, but like I don't know, just watch it. It's hilarious just to watch. I don't know. I champion this movie, so check it out. That's my first creature feature. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, starting early.
So,
Mark, why don't you tell us about yours?
So my name is Mark, and I run an Instagram account called Mark Loves Horror. I don't do any podcasts because I like doing the whole Instagram live thing. So basically, I only go live with the Core 4. So catch us on live. And I post nothing but horror content. And basically, I'm just a whore for horror.
Yes.
And yeah, follow me because I post good shit. I like
You
to
do.
think. I hope.
It's great. It's great.
I love your content. Like I look forward to seeing your stuff in the morning.
I get up very early. Okay, actually I don't get up that early, but I get up early to post. That way when people wake up, they're like, oh, wow.
Mark does love horror.
Yes,
You
thank
know
you for
what?
doing
There's
that.
no cap in his name. Low key, the this or that is my favorite, Mark. I love that.
Yes.
You
I do
oh
too.
I love the this or that.
I really
But
try. It's hard to come up with them.
I love fill in the blank too, because that's just like so many opportunities, and it's so hard because I'll literally sit there and I'm like, fuck, and I'll pick one.
Yeah.
Like, because I do what you ask.
You're so
It's like the
sweet. And what's-
diversity. There's so many different games. Like there's like, do I want to fill in the blank? Do I want to pick my top? Like it's always something that's really hard to do. Like that's really hard to think of something new every single day. So
Absolutely.
And what's
Mark
fun
loves
about
horror.
it, like what's so much fun about it is like I'm running an Instagram account and then I see people's comments and I'm like, literally, like this is me in the morning when I see the comments. I'm like, they fucking picked that? Like, really? Are you kidding me? But you know, I don't have to like I'm behind the screen, so
Yeah,
it works.
No one knows.
It works.
No one knows.
Until now they know you silently judge them.
Just throwing shade.
Yeah.
No, literally. Literally.
Shame.
So yeah, that's my account.
Listen, it's just candid. We're really big on candor. That's what it is.
Exactly.
Hard on sleeve shit, you know?
Yes.
Yes.
Loves it. Maddie, let's talk about your account, your awesome account as well.
Yeah. So I write for a site called Macabre Daily, and you should check them out, just at Macabre Daily. And then I started my own little Instagram account at Macabre Maddie on Instagram, because I don't do Twitter. Like I'm old enough where like I could have got on that train, but I was like a Facebook person instead. So I was like, no. And so Twitter just like passed me by, and now I'm just like, it's like trying to jump on a speeding train. It's like I'm probably just gonna get hurt, and you know it's gonna be sad. So Instagram is my go-to, and yeah, I'm just an elder millennial who collects a shitload of physical media. That's about
You kill
it.
it on TikTok too. I've seen your TikToks, and you do pretty good on those.
I know. I have like 7, and people are just.
They're great.
I can't tell. Like, there's just people just keep coming back and like liking them, and I'm like, what are you? How do you find this? Like, how? Like, I don't understand TikTok at all, because let me tell you what my algorithm gives me. I'm a 38-year-old, like, white passing Mexican cisgender man, right? Like, I get ASMR people. I have no interest in ASMR, none whatsoever. I get.
You're welcome.
That's.
Like that.
I get people playing Guitar Hero, which I can't. I think I watch those videos too long because it like triggers my ADHD or something like that. And so I'm like, oh,
Through
shit,
the fire
stay
and flames, man. It'll keep
Yeah.
me going for 20 minutes.
Then I'll get like a couple people collecting physical media, and then it's gonna be like people being AI people. So like, I don't understand TikTok. I don't understand people find those videos, but I'm glad they do. And one day I'll make another one. One day.
Really soon.
It takes me like 3 months to think of them.
You should
Quality
do-
over
do
quantity.
you should do ASMR while like rating horror. Like,
Oh.
and then he killed him.
just
Splat.
like,
Splat.
And then open your physical media like super slow. Be like,
Yes.
Listen to the sticker.
open the
Yes.
plastic.
New fear unlocked.
I love that.
I can't get down with that. Well, now that we know a little bit about you wonderful horror whores, we're going to be talking about creature features tonight. And I am super stoked. This was really hard for me because I have like a plethora of just creature features to pick from. So I narrowed it down. Can't wait to hear what everyone else picked. So
I know. I'm
Basic.
hoping we don't overlap. I tried to make some obscure picks, but I don't know.
yes, I know. I had a feeling that maybe the ones I wanted to pick were going to be on some people's list, maybe something different. So we'll see how it goes. But do you guys have honorable mentions at all?
I have one.
Okay.
My one honorable mention, and it would make my list, but I rewatched it and I'm like, "Ugh, I don't know if this could be I mean, it can be considered horror, but it leans more like fantasy and stuff. But Pan's Labyrinth. I love this
I was
movie.
going to pick that movie
I
too.
love this movie, and I
As well.
just ended up cutting it out just because I'm like, I mean, it can be considered horror because there's some brutal shit in there, i.e. the bottle kill.
my
That
God.
like where he beats that guy's nose in.
Yeah.
But it's just the creatures in it are like phenomenal. If we're talking creature features, like you get everything from the fawn design to the pale man, which is absolute just nightmare fuel.
Yes.
It's great. It's a great movie, and for being a movie from 2006, I think.
Yeah.
There you go. It holds up so well. And let's be honest, if we're doing creature features, we could just make Del Toro list, and I don't think anybody would judge you. He is
Honestly.
he's kind of like fit in really well there. So that's my only honorable mention. And it's just because I was like, well, maybe it doesn't lean enough horror.
That's what I was feeling too. And it's just that movie, I bawled. That's another like a very emotional movie. And
Really?
oh God, it hit me right in the feels.
Yeah, right at the end.
It's so beautiful, but it's so fucking beautiful. And it's just so done so well. And Guillermo del Toro is the creature feature god, in my opinion. Like he can do no wrong when it comes to creature features.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
Can I ask
babe,
a-
what?
Okay. Because creature feature, like I've seen like Pan's Labyrinth. I've seen that. I've seen what it's about. But like, okay, help me out here. Because like when I think of creature feature, I'm like, oh, The Descent. But then I'm like, wait, is it also like Aliens, or is Aliens its own genre? Like,
I
what
think
the-
all of it fits in there, man.
What the
Creature,
fuck?
like
Me too.
when we get into my list, like I have some stuff that's more maybe traditional monsters, but to me, a creature feature is like anything that has something otherworldly, has a creature, and it has
Yes.
something that's not of this world. So you can put aliens, you could put ghosts, you could put monsters. Yeah, gremlins, critters, basket case, anything like that. I mean,
Could
it all
be,
it all
in-
fits.
Could it be like inbred, like Wrong Turn?
Well, I mean,
That's a creature.
yeah. I mean, they're definitely creatures. I mean, humanoid creatures for sure.
Yes.
So I would vote yes. I mean,
Yeah.
living in Missouri, I see people like that, so it's not really otherworldly. This is the place where like family trees are family sticks, and
Yes, the roots
you know,
all
it's
mingled together.
yeah, man, and like you'll just go into Walmart and there's more tattoos than teeth. It's fucking excellent. I'm like, bro, you cut the sleeves off your fucking shirt. What is wrong with you? But anyways, I digress.
Oh, I love it. I know.
Oh,
I had
yeah.
this discussion with Greg because I was saying some, and he's like, "But that's not a creature feature." I'm like, "Yes, it is because it's this." And I was like, on that line of if it is, but whatever we pick, it's going to be yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
because Pan's Labarnus was on the creature feature list.
Yes.
I haven't seen that movie yet. It's on my to watch, my to-do
You'll
list.
love it, Mark. You'll love it.
You need to watch it because it's
Now,
so
I will
good.
say it's a little more of a pretentious pick, for sure. It's not like Boo around the corner, and you'll see it leans a little more fantasy than horror. But some of the gore and it's like, ugh. And
Scary.
it's set to the back of like the Spanish War, isn't it? Some type of Spanish War, like with
Yep.
fascism and stuff. It's it's awesome. If you want to watch like a Hispanic version of what am I trying to say? Alice in Wonderland. Here you go. Pretty
Okay.
much. It's
That's
but
good
it's much more
comparison.
creepy and dark and
But
Okay.
beautiful. There is
Yes.
like there is some sort of like beautifulness that you pull from this movie. So
Okay.
Did you guys hear anything I was saying before?
No.
I fucking knew it. I had the microphone on mute. Okay. That's like Pan's Labyrinth's like one of my three, like, you know, like people ask what your favorite movie is, and like you're always like,
Yes.
I don't know, how am I feeling today? You know, like
Yeah.
Pan's Labyrinth is like one of the three movies I rotate in as like one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
so good.
Like it is my I love that movie so much. And I think is anything's a creature feature as long as you can justify why it's a creature feature to you. Like,
Exactly.
so it's like, I think I'm really interested to see some of your all's list because I think that does like what's nice about it. Like as long as it's not like a slasher, right? It's like
Yeah.
you know, like Jason's not a creature because he was a fucking human. Like Michael Myers was a human being, you know. But
Right.
something that's inhuman. I mean, a zombie could be a creature feature, although they're all kind of as big as its own genre. But I also have some honorable mentions whenever you all are ready. Like y'all go first because
Maddie, you go because I have honorable mentions, but I want you are the guest, so you hit us with your honorable mentions.
okay, I'll make them super quick. You guys remember a show called like Project Greenlight? There they did like a horror movie.
Yes.
And the movie they made was called Feast.
Yes.
Oh.
One of the
Feast
dopest
from
covers.
2005. It's like John Gallagher, I think is the guy's name. Gulager.
Yeah.
And like if you can find the reality show that this is based on, it's actually really, really entertaining because he clashes with like everybody on the set. And it also shows you like how a fucking movie's made.
Yes.
But the end product is Feast, which is like Tremors with like way more blood, like heaps of more blood and like a lot, but the same kind of like funny comedic tone, super violent, just like quirky character kind of shit. Really fun. So that's there. And then the other one is Night of the Demon. I forget what year this is. But it's the one that like it's famous for what the it's 1980. They also be called Night of the Bigfoot. There's a famous scene where Bigfoot rips something off of somebody else, and if you're thinking what I'm thinking, you're right.
Is it the cock?
Yeah, it is the cock.
Love that.
The penis.
Save that for later.
There's a Bigfoot dick ripping
It's
scene.
flesh stick.
So
Ooh.
if nothing else, that should get most people's attention.
That moved to the
And
top of
there's
Mark's list.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, it should be at the top of everybody's list, to be honest with you. Like, if you've never seen a Sasquatch ripping dick, I mean, what are you living
Harry and the
for?
Hendersons.
What are
going
we
nuts.
doing?
Yeah, exactly. Harry and the Hendersons is just like they skirted the issue, but he was definitely dick ripping in the background. But yeah, there's a Severin Blu-ray that's it gives it the best possible presentation that a Sasquatch dick ripping scene could ever possibly deserve. So
Fuck yes.
and I'm sure it's on like
All for-
Tubi too.
Yeah. I'm all for like dicks in movies, but like when they get ripped off of someone, like
By a Bigfoot.
by Bigfoot, like that's top notch dick ripping. So
S tier.
I'm here
Just
for it.
just the hand to cock ratio right there. Like he's probably
Very,
getting
like-
the whole pelvis, you know.
He's just, like,
I've seen the movie. I'm not gonna
I love
spoil
it. I love
Yeah,
it.
Don't
Like
spoil
him
it for
waxing
everyone.
an eyebrow. That's how he pulls his dick off. Like just pulling a little. Gotcha.
doesn't
God.
even get to 3, just goes 1, 2, and then pulls on 2, and you're like, oh,
Shit.
he said 3.
So for my honorable mentions, I'm just gonna rip through them, and I'm just gonna say them because I wanted to put them on my list, but I didn't because I talk about them all the time. Jaws, The Thing, American Werewolf in London, The Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah,
I had to throw that one on there
it's in the
because
title. Yeah,
Creature is my favorite Universal monster, and I feel like it's such a beautiful movie. So I had to throw that one on there. And the last one, which is so strange, is Congo.
oh, I love Congo with the sign language.
Okay, but Bruce Campbell's in it, Ernie Hudson, Tim Curry, like what
Stacked
kind of-
cast, but
Yeah.
that movie is so fucking weird. And
It
like,
Oh,
is.
yeah.
because I remember, like, I read the book Congo like when I was younger, because I've been a nerd from the sperm, you know. So
Nerd from the sperm.
so like I read the book and I was like, the book's really good. And I was like, oh, the movie's gonna be pretty cool. And the movie is nothing like the book at all. And like it's just kind of it's kind of silly,
Yeah.
but it's like such a product. Like people are now starting to revisit the 90s in a way that people revisit the 80s. And I feel like we're gonna start seeing a lot of people talking about movies like Congo. Like Dante's Peak again, like Volcano.
Yes.
Tommy Lee Jones was in a fucking natural disaster movie where LA fucking had a volcano in it. Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yes, but those were like fun movies to watch. Like
Oh, they're
those
fucking
movies
great.
Made sense back then, and like I want more of those types of movies to come out now because it's like
Yeah.
I'll fucking sit and watch that.
I just
Oh, yeah.
remember Congo being like, "Oh, Jurassic Park with gorillas, cool."
Yeah, yes.
Like that's what
And-
it felt like as a kid.
Amy,
Psychic
like the
gorillas.
Yeah, that's right, psychic gorillas.
and like the Amy that signs and like making fun of Laura Linney on the plane. Like it's just such an obscure fucking movie. But
Also, the fact that the gorilla has like a romantic relationship with the male, and she's competing directly with Laura Linney. It's fucking weird
it's so weird.
because
And
none of
Tim
that's in the
Curry-
book. But
I've
that's like
never
central to the movie.
Can you tell I've never seen this before?
You're not missing out
Yeah.
a whole lot, man. Kind of had to
You-
be there, like to be honest.
Just get really high and watch it because that's what I did, and it's just
yes.
like the kicker part. And I'm not for this, but when Tim Curry went to say a derogatory word to Ernie Hudson, I was like, I cannot believe they wrote that in the fucking script. I was like,
Oh my god.
it was a gasp moment.
It was an
And his-
OMG moment.
OMG, and his accent was fucking horrible.
I feel like I need to give an honorable mention, so I'm just gonna say it again. I am not a creature feature girly because I literally thought Texas Chainsaw Massacre was a creature feature.
Hey, I told you how to make it work, man.
Yes. And I thought Inbred was creature features. So now, I'm going to say my honorable mention, just because I don't want to be basic, Anaconda with J-Lo.
Hell yeah,
Yes,
there's
I
nothing
love-
basic
good
about
one.
that.
Love that one.
And I just
Ice
feel
Cube.
like, yeah, and Ice Cube,
Mhm.
thank you. And I just feel like everyone's seen it, so that's why it's not going to be in my top 3, even though
Good
I'm a
call.
basic bitch. And all these movies I'm going to say everyone's fucking seen.
It's
But
okay though.
Anaconda.
Okay.
Can I
That's
say
a
the
great-
worst scene in that movie that gets me every time is when the hornet's in his throat? Worse than being
Yes.
eaten alive by a giant snake, or
Yeah.
worse
Yes.
than Owen Wilson's serious acting in that movie.
Oh my god. When he was like telling what's his name, what's up, I was like,
Wow.
be quiet. Owen
Like,
Wilson.
we
Yeah,
can stop
wow.
every second now.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Sounds just like it, Maddie. Wow.
Wow. I thought Owen Wilson was in the chat.
If he has good taste, he
I
is.
have a lot of talents that don't make any money. One of them is pretty good at mimicking people.
It's a shame.
I was a real shit when I was a kid. Let's put it that way.
Okay, so great honorable mentions. Now
Thank
let's get into our list. So who wants to kick it off with their number 3? Anyone?
I can go.
Okay.
I can go. Yeah, we were kind of talking what is a creature feature, and I think we kind of touched on it. I think it's about anything. But I'm gonna go with my favorite werewolf movie of all time, and we're going with Ginger Snaps. Love this creature feature.
Mhm.
2000s. It's just great. Canadian. I don't know, without ruining a whole bunch. It's just there's a whole lot of good subtext to this movie. I think the werewolf designs are awesome. It's about
Yes.
two like isolated sisters that, you know, don't have any friends, and one becomes a werewolf, and kind of about the dating life, high school, murdering. It's awesome. Like just watch it. It's kind of the Scream of werewolf movies. That's why I always say, because it's so tongue in cheek and fun.
Great way to put it too.
So if you haven't seen them, I know there's sequels. I've seen the second one. It's not that bad, but I have not seen the third one, the prequel from like the Witch Age and stuff. I haven't seen that one.
Mhm.
So
I haven't
don't
either.
ask me about it. But the first one is like my favorite werewolf movie of all time. It's just so awesome.
It's a good pick. That's a really good werewolf movie.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
You've never
Man, you're
seen
missing
Pod-
out, Mark. It's a good one.
I feel like
Yeah.
Mark's
Here's what we're gonna
gonna-
do. We're gonna do
Yes.
like a live stream of like it's called the Education of Mark, and we're
Yes.
going to just like force Mark to watch like Clockwork Orange style. We're gonna keep your eyes open,
I'll put the eye drops
and like
in.
we'll keep them moist.
I'm down for
Yeah.
that because I love things moist, and
Yes, yes.
I love being forced to watch shit that I usually don't. And one thing you guys have probably noticed about me is like, obviously, like I'm a fan of horror, but I'm like a basic horror kind of girly, and I'm trying to get into things that are pretentious and very shocking. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna add ginger snaps to the list.
I think you'll like Ginger Snaps
Okay.
more than you think.
Mhm.
It's not as pretentious as I made it sound.
Okay.
But
Okay.
also, I appreciate your interest in horror because it brings a diversity of interests. We need
Absolutely.
like I learn more about new movies from Mark than I do from anything else.
Yeah.
I know
Which
what's
is
good.
amazing.
I know what's not good.
Yeah.
Because Mark's gonna see it. Like we instead of like seeing like the same movie we've all seen before.
Yeah.
Mark's seeing what's new.
Yes.
It serves an amazing purpose.
It's a way to do it, and it's so
Thank
good
you,
because like we
guys.
can give you new movies, and you can give us new movies.
I was about to say, what's better for a scream queen or a horror fiend than like telling another one like a great horror movie? And like we always get that with Mark. And not only that, but I will say this. I am definitely one of those people where when people are like, "Hey, watch this movie," I'm like, "I will," and I never do. And Mark always watches them and gets
Aubrey.
back to us.
Yes.
I mean, I'm just going to be transparent to the people. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
just going to
Yeah.
say, if somebody's
Yeah,
like,
no.
"Hey, man, you really need to watch like the newest Saw," I'll be like, "Okay," and I won't.
We're like, don't tell me what to do.
Because
Don't tell me
Don't.
what to do.
especially too, like for me, like I have to be intrigued. Like, of course,
Yes.
like when Aubrey told me to watch what's it called? What's the
The
movie?
loved ones.
The loved ones. Yeah, like I was like, okay, like cute. And then he started going into detail, and I was like, sounds like my shit. Let me check it out.
I sell a movie. I sell a movie. That's what I'm
And so
getting
I
at.
liked it.
Yes. And it's good because I feel like all of us kind of like have our own style, but we're like open to new stuff. So it's
Yeah.
good because once I get like the okay from you guys, I'll watch something. Not saying I don't listen to other recommendations, but I'm just like more apt to go for your guys' recommendations.
Yes.
100% agree. If the core four tells me to watch them, I'll watch it. I'm
Exactly.
just saying, like in general, there's people will see my horror tattoos and be like, "Oh my gosh, you love horror. You should watch this." And
And
I'm
you're
like,
like-
I will never.
Yeah.
And I will
Thank
lose
you.
no.
They're like, have you
sleep
seen
over it.
Saw? I'm like, no.
Oh, no.
I just say
yeah,
no. I
yeah.
just say no. I'm just like, oh, no, I haven't. And I just because I want them to tell me why they want me to see it. You know, because I like people to like convince me.
Sell it.
Yeah, and like
Yeah,
even
sell
if like it's futile, maybe that's me just being a little sick and twisted. But like if I'm like, yeah, no, tell me why I should see that.
Yes.
Well,
Then you're
there's
like,
a saw in it.
Yeah,
And then
is
it's
there a
like,
Saw? It's like, well, okay, good. We were keeping our promises, aren't we?
Mhm. Mark, do you want to go next?
Yes. And let me just tell y'all, I came up with like 15 movies, but I'm literally like picking 3 right now. So bear with
Wow.
me.
You're
Those
throwing
are the
caution to
best.
the wind.
It's so hard because I'm like, yeah, I'm just not a creature feature girly, but when I watch a good creature feature, I'm like, holy fuck, this is
Yeah.
disgusting. Okay, number 3. I am going to go with The Mist.
Yeah.
Oh.
Stephen King.
Wow.
And obviously, if you guys, I feel like everyone's heard about The Mist, and the one thing that everyone like talks about is the ending. And so I'm gonna start it off with the ending. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I think like the whole build up to like them trying to figure out what the fuck it actually is, like what's in the mist, and it's like you're on a journey, you know, with what's his name, the dad. and
Thomas
the,
Jane's the actor.
Thank
but,
you.
I don't remember the character's name.
Thomas Jane and his son. You're like following their journey, and then you know when all hell breaks loose and it's the final like 5 minutes, and you're just like, what the like? I literally did not just watch this to be an emotional wreck for 6 months.
Yes.
Yeah, that ending is brutal.
And I saw this movie as a child, and I was scarred. Okay, I was scarred. It was horrible. Like
That would be
Horrible.
Show me where the
horrible to
movie
watch.
hurt you.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Right here.
wait, where's
Where
my
the
heart?
mist? Where the mist?
Right here.
right here. But yeah, one of my favorite scenes is when they're in the grocery store.
That's a good scene.
And yeah, I don't know, I just something, I guess to me, like, and it's hard because I know Creature Feature is like, I think Creature, but like The Mist, I feel like The Mist itself is like
Creepy.
It definitely qualifies.
Oh,
thank
for
you.
sure.
Okay, great.
And the fact
Yeah.
that the people become the monster halfway through the movie. like,
Yes.
it's a great movie, man.
Yes.
It's crazy when like the creatures become second fiddle almost, but they're not like disappointing, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
No.
And
So, like,
yeah. Well, and like I was just gonna say, overall, like I feel like Creature Features, a lot of them, like in today's time, they're all the same. Like, you know, like the shark movies, the alligator movies,
Yeah.
like they're all like the same dumb bitch that like goes back or goes in the water, and like what do you think is gonna happen? And with The Mist, it was literally like, oh my god, like
yeah.
you don't know what it is.
And
And
sometimes
so-
that's even more scary because like the unknown is terrifying. And then when everything unfolds, it's like, oh fuck. Like that's
Yeah.
what that was. Yeah.
And yeah, just the ending and the little old couple, like, oh
One of the best endings ever. But just
Seriously.
because it upsets everyone, and that makes me happy. which
it's
is weird.
it's very fucking upsetting, actually.
It's very upsetting.
It is just like that. It's not even like graphic, but just you can feel it because you watched them the whole time. And then that
Absolute
shit
kick in the
happens.
balls with a steel toe boot is what it is.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And then
I
the
love
credits
that,
roll, and
though.
you're like, "What the fuck? Like
I think
what?"
I think I even said that the first time I watched it. I was like, what the fuck? It did just happened in this movie.
Yeah, and I think too, like, you just, I don't want to spoil it, but I don't go. At this point, if you haven't fucking seen this movie, you're a
I have fun
cockhead.
with you. Yeah. we're fine.
Just like the end when he's crying, the dad, and he's all like, "Ugh," like, oh my god.
And they just walk right by him. The army's just like, "Bro, get the fuck out of our
Yes.
way."
Yeah.
Would
Yeah,
you
they
just
don't
steal
even
your kid or
care.
something? And they just walk right by him.
Yes.
It's like
So,
the lack of like trying to survive, and then they don't give a fuck.
yeah.
Yeah.
Whatevs.
The ending is 3 bullets and 4 people. You guys do the math and figure it out.
Yeah. And I realized I didn't really give a synopsis about it, but basically it's just some dirty ass mist in a rural city, and they're trying to make it out alive. Period.
Some stank ass fog rolled up. And
Yeah.
And that's how high starts. You know?
Yeah.
The exact same
Yes.
way.
It
I'll be
goes
honest.
into
I
high.
remember one time I got so high, I was showing this movie to somebody, and I laughed so hard at the point where they all get into the grocery store, and that one guy has like one line, and he goes, "Something in the mist took John," blah blah blah, and like the way he says it, I can never unhear it, and it's like the funniest thing ever to me.
It's scarred in your chest.
It
in
just
your brain.
transports me to that time, and I'm like, who the fuck gave their cousin that line? Like, you know what I mean? Like, something in the mist took John. It was just the way he delivered it. I was like, hey man, like, why wasn't the director like, hey, let's give that a second try? You
It was
know,
probably like
It's
some
really
producer's
freaking out.
kid who's like, hey,
That's
you're
what
gonna
I'm
put my
saying,
fucking
like,
kid
it's
in this
so-
movie, or else
it's
I'm
so
taking away
funny.
like $1 million from your budget. You don't get Thomas Jane, you get fucking like Ron Jeremy or
Jordan.
some shit. Like, I was
Yeah, nevertheless, great movie.
Yes,
Yeah.
excellent.
I tried. Thank you.
Choice. Maddie, what do you got for number 3?
Okay, so I'm a really big fan of H.R. Giger, the Swedish or Swiss like artist who did the design for Alien. Like he's the one who created that look of the xenomorph for the original Alien movie.
Oh, nice.
And he made another movie in 1995 with Natasha Henstridge called Species. And this movie fucks hard. Like
That's the
like,
best description ever.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
reasons why I like Species, and some of them is like in 1995 I was 10 years old.
Mhm.
So I was at that point where like I was discovering what I liked and preferred, and I liked and preferred Natasha Henstridge quite a bit. And I was like, wow, she is butt ass naked within like 10 minutes of this movie.
Yeah.
But that's not really what sells it, because she turns into this like outrageous alien creature that fucking rips dicks the whole fucking time trying to get pregnant and make like some fucking hybrid human alien baby. And like it's absolutely insane because she just plays it so well. And every guy is like, she's in LA, and like every guy is like willing to take this beautiful blonde home. And then like for whatever reason, like each one's not working out. It's like the opposite of The Hidden. If you ever seen The Hidden, where the guys just bouncing around bodies, like this, she's like just bouncing around dicks, trying to find the right one so you can get like a half alien baby. It's just an insane, fun movie, and I feel like a lot of people don't talk about it very often, and I don't know why. Because like if you like Alien, like there's no like it's got a very similar, like the creature design is similar in a lot of ways, but I don't know. It's a lot of fun, and I cannot recommend that movie enough to everybody.
You're right. No one ever talks about that movie. And I remember I was young. I was like 9, and that movie was like terrifying to me. Like
it was so good.
It was so good, and she's so gorgeous, and then she turns into this like creature, like this diabolical creature, and it's just an amazing transformation.
Is it kind of like that new movie that came newer, Malignant?
No, Malignant. No, it's a little different than that. Like it's more just like it's like she's trying just trying to get pregnant. Like that's she's like she's an alien. Yeah, she's like just an. Have you ever seen actually? All right, it's like that movie Life Force in the '80s. That's kind of probably the most closest thing to it. The Tobe Hooper movie, where like there's all these space vampires that like, and they had I forget her name. She had like brunette hair, but everyone loves that movie because she's butt naked in it. So they just like show up and they just like suck the life force out of people. But that's like the closest thing because they're just trying to fuck too. So
yeah.
Okay.
Or if you want to watch a boring, unfun version of it, I was going to say Under the Skin. Scarlett Johansson was in that movie a while back. Very similar.
Oh yes,
she's like an alien trapping men and like eating their souls and powers. Like
I never understood why people like that movie so much. Like I never got the like
because we got to see Species, and Species is like the same movie but fun. Like this movie is like take all the context and backstory out of Species and put Scarlett Johansson in it, and it's like okay, it was like weird.
It's like any modern movie, taking something fun and actually like pleasing to the eye and make it like this bleak, like dull story of something that was cool.
Yeah,
it's like come on. Yes.
In other words, watch Species, and they made a bunch of those, didn't they?
Yeah, the sequel, like the second one's not bad. I haven't seen the third one. The second one is like I think a guy goes to like Mars or wherever the fuck the alien's from, and like he comes back half alien, and they're trying to fuck each other. So like they're trying to find each other on Earth and fuck each other because they're both the alien.
They should have been.
It's all about alien fucking, like, and that's not like why it's a good movie. It's just like that's such a silly premise, but the way it's done is so serious and well and like so like graphic that it's like, okay, wow, this isn't funny. This is just really fucking wild, you know? Like she's like in the train, she's like stuffing her face and she's like fucking eating all this pudding and shit. Like it's insane. It's an insane movie.
Every time like you guys are like eating something, I'm waiting for you guys to say like eating dicks because we've just talked about dicks so much tonight that I'm just waiting for like.
I think none of my picks have any more.
That's on Fridays.
Penises, but one of them is a phallic-looking monster. So you know.
And it's called. It's just called Species, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Got it.
Add that one to the list.
I was 1 when that movie came out, so I will be adding it to my list.
Oh my God, you just
That's
made
like
me
the
feel
perfect
so
age
old.
to see that.
Right?
This is how you were made.
Exactly.
Because like it does have to do with birth, you know. There's some birth, I guess, in there.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay, so my number 3 pick is going to be a little bit controversial. And I know, just saying it, I know everything about this movie, what happened with this movie, and I don't support the director or anything like that personally, but Jeepers Creepers is my number 3 pick.
I was about to start humming the song because I was like,
Yeah.
I know where she's going with this, and I wanted to say the same thing.
Yes. I talked to Greg about it, and he's like, you can separate the art from the artist. And I have a kid. Like, obviously, that shit is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
He should
Yeah.
be ripped to limb by limb, whatever. But Jeepers Creepers, when it came out and I watched it, that movie fucking scared me. Like,
Brilliant.
everything about it, just the character build up, the storyline, the creep as he is, like his decapitated head, the woman with the cat scene. It's just
Yes.
perfect. And then the ending, you think that he's going after Trish.
Fucking heartbreaking.
It is. And that's another ending that's like so sad but satisfying at the same time because
Have you seen the second one?
That I was gonna, because
That
that's
was awesome.
Jeepers Creepers 2 is by far my favorite out of the Jeepers Creepers movie.
So is it I've watched it, and I've watched it like I want to say one time, and I didn't feel like it was as good as the first one, but
It just kind of jumps right into it. If you want a higher body count, second one's
one.
way more fun.
It's like the Halloween Kills.
Yes,
Like, of
yes.
like
Without
it's just like the creeper
anything
just
like
like
the
shows up and starts fucking with a bus
Yes.
full of like cheerleaders and football players.
yeah,
And I think
remember
that's
the bus.
and I think that's why I like it, is because one, of course, it has to do with like that high school like cliquey vibes.
Yeah.
And who doesn't love seeing like dick football players getting killed? You know,
Yes.
like you're rooting for that one like nerdy girl. Like it's so good, and a higher body count. Who doesn't love seeing higher body count?
And a little more lore to the creeper. You know, the first one's just so ambiguous to a degree.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And like I know everyone said that the new one, Unborn, was like,
Oh
complete
God,
garbage.
horrible.
let's not get started on that.
We won't.
I think doctors confirm that's where eye cancer came from.
Let me just tell you this, like, because you already got me started, and it's like I'm very upset with you for bringing this up, but I still love you. I saw the fucking trailer, and I was like, oh my God, like, holy shit, like this looks great. They're in a fucking house, in a haunted house. Like, what the fuck is this? And then I get there, and I'm like, I could have made this on my fucking iPhone. Like, are you kidding me? Horrible.
I haven't watched it, and I won't watch it, because if I know it's that bad and not in a good way,
that's one we should all watch as a core 4, because it's so fucking bad. We would have so much fun watching it.
I'm down. I'd watch it with you guys, but if it's just like
I wouldn't watch it on my own volition, but like if I had some commiserates with me, yeah, absolutely.
Moral support.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah,
that was the tough one, because I didn't want to get backlash, because I know a lot of people like don't talk about it, period.
I talk about Rosemary's Baby all the time. Same thing with Polanski. Again, artist and artist. Now, if somebody says I don't watch Jeepers Creepers because of the director, I don't judge them. Same way, hey, I listen to Michael Jackson almost every day. Motherfucker could sing. Like, I mean, I separate the art and the artist. I mean, that's just me personally. I can do that. And I get it when people are like, I don't do that. I'm like, fair point. I get it.
Is it the same song every day, or is it a different song every day?
It's probably just Beat It.
It's. I wake up every day. I cry really hard. I look in the mirror and I listen to Man in the Mirror, and then I moonwalk out of the bathroom, which is very crazy. I don't know how I do that.
I think the crying in the morning part. I feel like there's actually some good advice buried in there, like crying first thing in the morning. Like, just get that cry out.
Cry off yesterday. Just cry it off.
At the end of the day, I want to say something really quick. The horror community is like at the end of the day, we all love what we love, and we all love movies for a specific reason.
Yes.
Now, if there's something outside of the movie, leave it outside the movie. We're not bringing it into our love for a genre. You know what I mean? So
could not be said better.
Watch whatever the fuck you want.
And how many people work so hard on that movie? You know, so like everyone's work is going to get thrown away because of one person's bad actions. Again, you make that determination. I don't think anybody would judge you if you were like, I don't watch Jeepers Creepers because, you know, the guy was Chris Hansening Kids, you know, and
Yeah.
self-admittedly.
Yeah.
And so I don't blame you there, but you're also going to miss out on Jeepers Creepers, which is a great creature movie.
Yeah.
It's honestly like one of the best creature movies. And like the other thing that I have to add into that mix is think of all the shit that happens that doesn't get brought to light. And I'm not trying to get into like a deep, like morbid conversation about that, but like think of the movie industry and stuff that just hasn't been talked about. Like
Yep.
it could be pretty much anything and everything. So I understand to a degree, and I'm completely against it, but I got flack for it one time when I posted a while back. Someone messaged me about it, and I was like, fuck. And I like,
Yeah.
started to
Yeah.
feel bad, and I'm like, maybe
No.
I should take it down, but then I left it because
No, you tell me who they are, and it's on like Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Okay, period.
I'll send you the name, babe.
Yes.
Hell hath no fury like Mark loves horror.
Yeah.
None.
Exactly.
None.
Yeah.
Yes. Glad he's on my side.
Yes.
All right. Well, that was excellent lead-ins to our list. So let's go on with our number 2 picks, Aubrey.
My number 2 is going to be a great body horror, which is a genre I have been getting into a lot more lately. The more seasoned of a horror for horror, as Mark would call me. I get the more I've really started to enjoy body horror a lot more. I used to not get it.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go with The Fly, Cronenberg's version. Great, just great. The pretty much the peak of like body horror, and Jeff Goldblum. How could you not? And Gina
I love
Davis.
him. Oh my
And
God.
I mean, just slow burn body horror. And if you guys don't know, he makes a teleportation device. A fly gets in there with him. Their genes become crossed, and he becomes a humanoid fly. And it's disgusting. Like
So
when he's
gross.
pulling his fingernails off and shooting pus on the mirror, I'm
Oh,
like
well,
about
I
to
can't.
puke.
Yeah.
I'm about to puke.
when he-
and
or
it's,
how
like,
he eats.
So good. Yes, how he eats and he shows it to you,
So
Like,
Yeah.
good.
or when that guy's coming for him with the shotgun and he just spits that goo on his hands and melts
Yeah.
them. Like, oh, it's
Fucking
A
gross.
Fly is great. Like, I have learned how to love body horror, and it's some of the best. Cronenberg kind of does it like no other.
Yeah.
Crimes of the Future was really bad. I didn't care for it, but
Yeah.
you know, he's also given us Brandon, and I've really enjoyed what Brandon's done with Possessor, Infinity Pool. I've enjoyed those movies. So if you
Yeah.
guys don't know The Fly, definitely check out The Fly. The creature design is awesome. It's disgusting. It's one of the stickiest movies I've ever seen.
It's so the first time I watched it, I was like, because I will admit it, I can't watch shit like that. Like if I'm
I
gonna
can't,
eat,
Yeah.
like I get so like super sick and just I can't watch it. But when it's amazing, you have to watch it. It's a horror staple.
The
Yeah.
sequel is like not as good, like by a long shot, but it does have like really good effects. So if you like the effect from the first one, like the second one doubles down.
Was
quite a bit.
Cronenberg involved at all at the sequel? I don't know. I didn't even know there
No.
was a sequel. Okay. That's probably why I didn't know at all.
What now I haven't seen like throughout the whole movie again because I saw it when I was younger. I've seen like almost the full movie. What year this was like? Was this like
86, I think.
okay?
wasn't it?
80.
That's what
I
I
I was like, was it like
There's-
79?
There was one
80?
really earlier than that. I can't remember when the
50s.
original Fly was, but the Cronenberg remake, David Cronenberg's, watch his with Jeff
Okay.
Goldblum. And
Yes.
number 2,
Okay,
Jeff Goldblum, like, man,
He's
people talk about
sexy.
Ryan Reynolds. He like was super hot in that
Mhm.
in that
he
movie.
is such a stud. Even like in Earth Girls Are Easy. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
I'm
love
telling
him.
you, The Fly is so good, and it's actually a really good movie too. It's not just a gross out movie; it's actually really good. And Gina Davis does a lot of really compelling things. That's kind of hard to be like, how could you feel for somebody that's a brindle fly at this point? But
Seriously. Yeah. It
and
is a
then
lot of
another
fun.
heartbreaking ending. Maybe creature features are known for their heartbreak, man. I.e.,
Maybe.
Frankenstein. Everyone just runs with that ending, you know.
Well,
I'm
think
all
about it,
like,
like they're freaks. Most, you know what I mean? Like most of it, it's like an accident or something happens and they're known as the freak and you're like the odd man out. So
yeah.
you can work a lot with that.
Yeah.
But Jeff, I mean, I'd stick by his side if he was a fucking booger. I mean,
Yeah. And
The
then
booger.
Oh gosh. And I'm telling you, when he starts growing those fly hairs out of his back, I'm just like,
Ugh.
what?
So gross. I know. It was hard to get through that though. Like when he opens his mouth and all the shit's coming out of it.
Yeah, he like involuntarily just starts vomiting that white milky goop. Blech.
I just like honestly,
Ugh.
body horror grosses me out, but it's so intriguing. Like,
Yes.
who doesn't love seeing like bodies, but like mutated bodies.
Yes.
Ah, so
Good
sexy.
shit.
So sexy. Love it.
We went to a tattoo convention like about 2 or 3 months ago, and they had people there who are also like contortionists, and they did like extreme, like I don't know what you would call it. They get like hung by their like piercings and stuff, and like to
Oh,
have
yeah.
like like so they were doing a lot of that, and like that kind of got to me. I was like, oh, I can't watch this anymore because like people had like their back skin just like stretching out while they're just like,
It's me
"Ah,"
sweaty,
like,
man.
and
Oh
like
my
clearly
God.
there's like some sort of like
Pleasure.
yeah pleasurable component to that. I can't imagine that it's just pain. Like there's got to be something, but yeah, it was
Ugh.
When they
pretty
were
gnarly.
hanging upside down on the hooks, did you look at them and go, Jesus wept? That's the
Yeah.
only thing I
No.
That's the only
No,
one I
but so my wife, my wife is, works in a hospice doctor, and like she's one of the people actually who was there actually had come in like weeks after because they had like something wrong with
Ugh.
like they got an infection or something like that. So yeah,
Go figure.
I
I know.
just stay clean. No, I'm not going to yuck anyone's yum. Just be clean about it. Like just make sure you're doing cleaning up and like working with safe and like hygienic
Don't share
shit.
needles. Best advice I ever got.
Don't do it. Don't hang your back skin with someone else's back
Hell,
skin.
I don't even share straws no more, man. Like
No. Yeah.
get your
No.
own. You can share the soda. Just bring your own straw, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, never mind. I was gonna say something very inappropriate, but we'll wait for
Please,
later. We'll wait
say
for
it.
No,
later.
go on with your Mark self. Come on.
Yes.
No, I mean, like, okay, so I have this friend who's going through her like hoe era, and she's like, Glock 3000, like to all these guys, and I'm like, girl, like, I'm very sex positive, but like some of these guys she meets, I'm like, he looks dirty, like,
Where that ding dong's been.
Yeah. You're gonna get athlete foot in your throat. How? I don't know. Why did Dick have athlete's foot? We don't know. But you just sucked up that dick. That had athlete's
yes,
foot.
I'm like, babes, find the one and just
Boom. Tough acting to
suck
that.
that dick for the rest of your life, okay? Why?
But
Like-
think of it too, like when you like I
John
don't
Madden
have
down your throat.
Yeah.
I don't have a dick, but like imagine sitting on a toilet and like your balls are like touching the toilet water, or like your pee pee touches.
That's
the
an awful
poo-poo
feeling.
toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
But then you don't have to shower the rest of the day, right, Mark? Because you washed your balls.
I'm fucking done.
Okay,
I'm
but if
done.
they did wash their balls, then like homegirls like plowing down on that, like
I'm done.
One of the best memes I've ever seen is, and well, since Mark got really inappropriate, I will too. It's a meme,
please.
and it just says, she gags on it and says, "Oh, is it because it's big?" And she goes, "No, it's because it's stinky."
Stinks.
And it's like, fuck. That's
I'm
one of the
done.
funniest things I've ever seen.
Wait, I'm gonna be so excited if this makes the actual episode.
It's
This
all
whole
going to.
conversation. Okay,
That's
great.
a real creature feature.
Yes.
Sucking a stinky dick. That's a creature feature and a half.
I'm gonna use this as the promo.
That's actually
clip,
my
too.
next pick. is,
We should create the horror movie, and I'll be the main actor, sucking the dick.
volunteering for the monster stinky dick.
Yes,
We
so
don't need
down.
prop dicks. We're just gonna get homegirls.
Yes,
collection.
yes.
I'll just walk in Walmart and be like, "Hey, what would you do for $7?" They'd be like, "I'd let
Well.
Mark blow me."
How many of your family members are you related to and you've had sex with? Okay, you're coming with me.
Okay,
You're
cool.
good.
Yeah, they got web
Gross.
feet. They're good swimmers. That's cool.
Gross.
It's a good trait to pass on.
This is a great conversation because my next pick
Yes.
for creature feature
Yes.
is the human centipede. The first sequence.
That's so good.
Oh,
That is so. I love that pick.
Wow, Mark, I was not
wondering-
expecting you to pick that movie.
I was
Thanks.
wondering who was
movies.
gonna do it.
And okay, so I had a hard time because like obviously they're like humans, but it's the fact that like they're a fucking creature. Like, I
Yeah,
mean,
he makes
can
them
I
into
say
a
that?
creature.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of
Tusk
cease
would
to be
also
human.
like a viable pick here. Like it's the same concept, right?
Yes. And again, you guys were talking about like creature features being sad. How sad is that poor girl in the middle when the guy behind her and who's up her ass and she's up the guy's ass and she's stuck there? That is so sad.
Yeah.
I know. I would hate to be in the middle. Full disclosure, I've never seen
I would
any
hate to
human
be on any
centipedes.
part of that.
I know it would.
You said you've never seen it? Is that what you
I've
said?
never seen any of them because I just
The
can't.
first one's not bad for being a
Yeah.
shocking horror movie. Like it's just meant to shock. And
I
that's
think
it.
the third one's horrible. The second one, I
It's
will never
nasty.
watch again because it was so fucking gross. I can't.
And I'm not saying it in a mean way because I feel like you and I have had this discussion about grossness. But if even for you saying that, I definitely am not watching.
And I guess for me, it's like the first one when I saw it again. This came out like 2009, so I think like I was a sophomore in high school, and I just remember like sitting there watching it, like, and I think the worst part for me is where
That's
she's
like a traumatizing thing to watch at that age.
oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
hell, I think this movie was literally made off the popularity of Two Girls, One Cup. Tell me
I
if
was
I'm
just
wrong.
about to say that.
Tell me
Thank
if I'm
you. Thank you.
No, you're right.
And it's the fact that they have to feed, like the first person has to eat for the last person to eat. And I'm talking about eating shit. So obviously that's
Yeah.
Two Girls in a Cup. And it's just fucking disgusting. Like the fact that he was a retired Siamese twin, like procedure doctor, and now he's fucking putting ass to mouth, like that's fucking horrible.
doing
That's
Lord's work, man.
So gross. Do you see like a lot of the stuff in this one?
Honestly, because it's been a while, because again, like this is not like my first watch where I'm gonna be like, oh, let's watch Human Centipede. I just remember they're like,
Need to chill out. Let's watch Human Centipede.
Yeah, it's a great first date movie. Hey, how was your ribeye? Would you like to watch Human Centipede?
Exactly. Yeah. So basically, it's like a couple coming home from a club and their car breaks down or whatever, and then it's the doctor. He ends up like, I don't know what he does, but somehow he gets all three of them in a room, and then it's just a struggle from there. And the whole time, like you just see their mouth like with the gauze, and they're like,
it's more the sounds and the like, the reaction. The second one is more like actually seeing like butthole get sewn.
Yes.
Like the second one's much more like runs with what the first one did, kind of like Saw. The first Saw was gross, but it was like really reserved in its grossness. And number two, I mean, it wasn't gross, but it was like it really leaned into that.
You see everything.
Yeah, and that's like what number two is. It like leans into it where the first one's kind of like you don't see it as much, but it's like you can imagine it. Like it's not leaving much up to the imagination.
Yeah. And the third one is just stupid.
Horrible.
The third one is
ridiculous.
It's basically Jeepers Creepers Reborn
except maybe worse. Yeah, except he's like, oh, let's make a giant human centipede out of all the felons in this jail. Like that makes zero sense.
And Eric Roberts, right?
Yes.
Wait, Eric Roberts is in a Human Centipede movie?
Yeah, the third one.
The third one.
Yeah,
Wow.
think. And he's probably the best actor, and I'm not lying.
But
I only saw the first one. I never continued.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't. You're not missing much.
I heard about the I think we've talked about it. The one thing that made me not want to watch 2 at all was the car scene with the baby.
Oh gosh. I don't really remember it off the top of my head.
Can you go into detail, please?
Because it's all in black and white.
Again, apparently, like she was giving birth, she was pregnant and she was escaping. And when she was escaping, she gave birth. And then when she goes to hit the brake pedal, she like crushes the baby, crushes the baby's skull like down in the pedal.
Wait,
Probably.
This is Human Centipede 2?
Yeah.
Probably. I just don't remember it. Like 2 is probably the one I've watched the least because 3 is so bad I like show it to people.
Yeah.
2 is kind of like the one where it's just like it just doesn't, it just feels like exploitative almost.
It's basically porn.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Wait, so I don't remember, like now I have to I'm gonna have to fucking watch it. Thank you.
See if that's legit, because I was talking to my friend about it. She said 1's not so bad. If you're gonna watch any of them, watch the first one.
Yeah.
And then 2, absolutely stay clear of. And then she told me that, and I was like, who the fuck would, why? Like, why is that even necessary?
I don't know.
The person
it's a shitty situation to begin with. So
yeah, the first one though, I think that's why it's my pick, is because it's like fucking disgusting.
Yes.
And I wouldn't want to find myself in that situation, even though I'm gay. I wouldn't want to find myself in that situation.
Well, I don't think being gay has anything to do with eating fecal matter, but
no.
I mean,
well, I'm just saying like eating ass. But again, that's another topic for another day.
Sometimes you just gotta get pink eye, man. Sometimes.
Take off
be in that hoe phase.
I have a fecal story. I was holding my dog when we went up north to my in-laws. I was holding my dog, trying to take him from the car in, or no, excuse me, from outside inside. And my mother-in-law was making meatballs for my niece's graduation party,
Oh
and we
my
were
God.
getting like loaded up, and I saw this like mark on my hand, and I thought it was like marinara or like tomato sauce. And I was gonna fucking lick it, and I put my hand up, and
Bro.
I smelled it. It was shit, and I was like, I literally almost just licked dog shit off my hand.
We're
and
getting
it
a new dog. I'm sorry. Like Old Yeller Part 2 is about to happen. Dog
I-
fucking shit on me. Come on, man.
I'm dying
on.
because
I was so pissed.
when you said I have a fecal story, Maddie's like, what?
Yeah. Well, now.
Well, I'm like, I didn't prepare one. Like, I was like, I didn't know we had to bring up fecal story. Like, that's, I mean,
I know.
I think
A
I did
fecal
it
is a
like
creature,
in like the
okay?
first grade, and like John McVean like kept making fun of me about it for like 6 years until like middle school. And I'm like, dude, just get over it. You know, like fucking happened. It's like super bad. That part is so bad. He's like, oh, you shit your pants. He's like, oh, who even talks about that anymore? Exact same thing happened to me. That's my fecal story.
Love
People
that.
shit their pants. I mean, big deal. But I almost licked shit, Matt. It was like
That's
I
true.
was
Telling
this
you.
close, and I could smell it, and I'm like, ugh.
But you know what? I get that because marinara is like if there's any sort of sauce
Yeah.
around like my like wrists and to hand, like absolutely that gets the lick.
Yeah.
Especially if I know what it is. I'm like, so I can see how that could happen. And it's
This
a good thing
body
that you're
is not
sick.
built by not eating the marinara on my wrist.
Yeah, exactly,
Like
yeah.
that's all that's going to go in me.
This
I
is
was very-
science and a lot of bad decisions. Right?
Stop. Well, Mark, that's an interesting pick. I was not expecting that one, but I knew it might pop up somewhere. So I love it.
Thank you.
Human
Thank
centipede
you.
always does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. And it's almost like pushing me to the point where like I just want to watch it to get it over with.
Like
Just watch-
curiosity.
I'll be
Watch the
honest.
first
If you
one.
watch The Fly, you can
Yeah.
watch the first Human Centipede.
Mhm.
I mean, I know what's gonna
not as,
happen.
it's not as bad as you're thinking. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
a good movie by any means, but it's not like pass out faint. Like, oh my god, just poop flying everywhere.
Yeah, but also too, Jordana, I know like we talked about that we're trying to get out of our like comfort zones with these type of films. So if you can get through the first one, I would say just watch the second one.
Damn.
Just
Mark's
fucking
just
do it.
corrupted people out
Yeah.
here.
I mean, I am like that. Like that. I'm curious about things. Like I'm scared and I want to do it, but I don't because I don't want to.
If you don't love me, then you'll yeah. I'm going there.
Oh,
If you
I
love me, you'll watch it.
I love you. But okay, maybe some night I will watch it.
Okay, great.
Maybe because he said
Great.
it.
I triple
Bribe
dog
me into
dare
it.
you. That's what I do.
Yes, might work. All right, Matt E. What is your 2 pick?
All right, we're staying in the 90s for this one. It's Tremors. I fucking love this movie. Like,
So good.
it is so much
I love
fun. It is like everyone. It's like it's gateway horror. Like it's the kind of thing. Like I used to see this on USA and TNT, fucking every goddamn day for like like from the age of like 5 to like 13. That's like it was on like at least twice a week.
USA. Yes,
Yeah,
all the
or
time.
Sci-Fi Channel. It was always fucking on. So like you never could like you'd always get parts of it, but like watching and sitting and then watching the whole thing in one sitting, it's just such a blast. Like it's such a like when I think of like summer blockbuster movies that are like a lot of fun, like Tremors kind of comes to mind as like what I think we don't get as much of. Like now we get a lot of spectacle. We don't get a lot of like interesting stuff. Like you're like, oh, cool. Tom Cruise is fucking throwing his fucking 60-some-year-old body out of a fucking airplane again. Like, oh, okay, probably shouldn't do that, but whatever. Fuck you, Tom. You know, like,
Yeah.
so like, but like instead, like, give me like fucking a bunch of hillbillies, like, and not even hillbillies. They're just like fucking some dudes hanging out in fucking Texas. Well, one of them was a hillbilly because the guy with the fucking gun guy, but like,
Bert,
you know,
man,
like,
Spirit
yeah,
Animal
Bert, like,
sometimes.
but like, you know, like they're just like hanging out, mind their business, and then a fucking giant fucking sandworms start coming out. You know, like it's fucking great, and it's not super gory. It doesn't have to be. It's pretty funny. Like it's like Men in Black. You know, it's like it's got that
Yes.
good like humor, charm, vibe with good amounts of horror, and it's genuinely like just a good time.
I love that you
Yeah,
say gateway horror because like I vividly remember being a kid and like playing along with the movie. Like I'd like pretty much playing the floor is lava while it's going.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, oh, it's like,
Yes.
oh God, the Tremors are here. You have to jump on the couch and what like you can't touch the floor. Like So I love that. I love that pick, and I love that analysis of it.
Yes.
Yes.
And I just want to cut in. This movie kind of like I love this movie because growing up, my mom's mom, she's no longer with us. She didn't really have she had a little TV in her kitchen, and that movie was always fucking on because it was always on TBS or USA. And so I saw that movie literally at my grandma's house. And yeah, that fucking creature is disgusting.
It is.
Not-
I love it.
Yeah, not trying to make it like a sentimental moment, but their creature, and again, as this is inappropriate, but it's basically an uncut dick, like eating people. Like that's what
Yeah.
it looks like, and it's just disgusting.
And then it becomes a chode and gets wings.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's like oversized, and
Love it.
again, not discriminating with uncut penises, but this is one uncut penis I do not want chasing me in the desert.
Wow, that should be the name of this episode. That's one uncut penis I don't want chasing me
Yeah.
in the desert.
And that,
Tagline on the DVD case.
yeah.
Mark
And-
loves where it says.
and Fred Ward. I
Yeah.
think that's the actor's name. Oh my god, he is so fine. in this
Silver
movie.
Fox before
He is
George.
so fine.
But
in
that
this
that
movie.
is one dick you do want
Yes.
chasing you through the desert. Okay.
If that
Whether
Yeah,
it's an
yeah.
anteater or not, whether it's an
Yes.
anteater or not, Mark wants it.
Yes. But yeah, no, that's a great choice. It's a great pick, Maddie, because
It is.
again, it's one of those films where I feel like everyone grew up with it, watching it, whether I feel like everyone's had to watch it on fucking cable. Like if you
Yeah,
didn't watch it
at
on
some point.
cable, you weren't living. So
I do
Was it
feel like
Reba in
maybe
the
like
first
some
one?
younger folks, like if you're like sub 20 right now, like you're
Yeah.
probably not gonna see Tremors unless
Yeah.
someone shows it to you or tells you about it. So
Yeah.
like there are some movies like that will. That's kind of sad, like time passes and movies kind of fall out of relevance to some extent. And like Tremors, like for all intents and purposes, like didn't really have an impact cross generation like Jason or Freddy or
Yes.
Michael Myers, like or Ghostface is
point.
having. Like,
Yep.
so I think it's and with not to go on a rant here, but like with like streaming services, it's really hard to actually find It's actually there's been studies on this that it's harder to find things to watch in a streaming service than it is in a video store because you have
Absolutely.
you have a finite amount of choice, seemingly finite amount of choice in a store. Anyway, I'm getting off my point, but all this to say, like people aren't going to they're not going to see. I want people to go see those movies that like you don't hear everyone talking about. And Tremors is a pretty big one, but like it's really good. There's a really good 4K out from Arrow that like looked beautiful. And it's just you can show it to fucking anybody. Like there's nothing offensive about that movie at all.
I say all the time, if you love something, like you're gonna look to see how it got here. The
Mhm.
bigger horror fan I become, the more I've gotten into like the silent films, the Universal stuff, like really
Yes.
gotten into it because the Vincent Price era is huge. I grew up, my parents let me watch Svengoolie all the time. So it's like just knowing like how did we get here? You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like
Yes.
I find that very intriguing.
yeah,
Mhm.
And you can't tell the
Um,
story of creature features without Tremors.
yeah.
That fact.
Yeah, and I hope nobody gets disrespected, but I do like Tremors too.
I
Sequels are
until-
fun.
until it gets
Yeah.
Like,
old.
they're good.
They're not
There's
like
no
great
difference.
movies, but like they're a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah, a fun watch. And there's times that I'm just in the mood for a fun watch. Like I don't need anything too serious or too intense. Like just something easy.
It's background movies. Like they're movies you can just
Yes.
put on. You can do like chores to them or whatever. You can just engage with them casually. Like the first one's a lot more. Like the first couple, like first three, I think are pretty good. After that, they start to get a little
Yeah.
rocky. But like,
and I think some of the original cast is, if I remember correctly, they're in the sequels, right?
At
I think
least the
Fred
second
Ward
one.
contributes
Fred
to a
Ward.
couple of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
because
They
he's
also,
like the character that everyone like was all Even though Kevin Bacon's a star, Fred Ward stole the show.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at
Totally.
him.
I love how you said Gateway too, because I'm trying to get a list of movies to show Rosalind, and Tremors is on the list for sure.
Perfect. Yeah.
Poltergeist.
And
I
it's
feel
like,
at that
yeah,
age.
it's like Maddie said though, like, or Maddie or Maddie or Aubrey said it, but I feel like, like back then, like older movies, they showed a lot of like sex or like body parts. Tremors is so like I feel like it's a family friendly horror film that the whole
Yeah.
family can watch,
Yeah.
and I respect that. Because again, it was TBS USA Gold, so how can you not?
Also,
watch
I'm
it?
throwing this out here as like a potential like topic for one day, which is like
Mhm.
top 3 like children's horror movies, because
Yeah.
like there's
Yeah.
some really good ones out there. Like, I mean, some of them are not always full on horror. Like Ernest Scared Stupid. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Sorry,
That's
yeah, Ernest
scary,
Scared
bro.
Stupid is one of the
still
fucking
have
greatest.
nightmares about
I-
that. I
I
keep
love
milking
that
the
movie.
house, not because I drink it. That's how much I watch that movie.
Yeah, The Exorcist
love
is
it.
definitely a great children's movie for sure.
yeah.
Oh, for
too.
sure. No, absolutely.
Great
I'm gonna
reason
show
not
her
to have
that
kids.
after a Serbian film. I feel like that's a good.
Oh
transition,
yeah,
right.
That's like in your first 6 months, if you don't show your baby that movie,
Then
you're
what
a
are you
shitty
doing?
parent. Yeah,
might as well just start over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sell that one to science. One less egg to fry, you know?
yes,
I'll make one looks just like you in 9 months. Like,
yes.
But yes, excellent pick. And I'm kind of bummed that I didn't pick that one. Put that one on my
I was
list,
gonna
so-
pick it, but I knew Maddie was gonna pick it, so I'm like, you know what?
Wow.
it's a great
Maddie's-
pick. I totally
Maddie's
let that one
great.
slide.
Maddie's intelligent. Let him get it.
This list is amazing too, by the way.
Thank
So,
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Mark giving me the holding the door open for Tremors on me. Oh,
So nice. I know.
blessed.
Okay, so my number 2 is going to be newer too. And it is I don't know, the complexity of the story of what was going on with the atmosphere and the creatures. It's 2005's The Descent.
Bitch, that was mine. Oh my god!
Battleship sunk.
Look at you.
Is that your number 1?
Yes.
Okay, never mind.
No,
Let me
go
see.
ahead. Go ahead.
Damn, I could pick something
ahead.
else.
No,
I
it's
just
good.
love-
Overlap is good. It's fun. It's fun when there's
Yes,
overlap.
Yes.
Because now you can
Yes.
both like talk about like why you love it. It's great.
Yes.
Yes. Go
I
ahead.
had a feeling too, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going with it because it's one that stood out to me. I love, it's not that I love, but having that dynamic of Juno and Sarah.
Yes.
And then, you know, as the girl is like in her last moments, you know, asks Juno about the necklace, and you're just like, oh, here it fucking comes. And adding the claustrophobic element, because that like had me, I'm not usually claustrophobic, but watching that movie, I felt myself like hard to breathe. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what to do. But
and
so
the fact
fucking
that
good.
it's all like an all women's cast,
Yes.
I fucking love that. Just because like I'm of course like women empowerment, like how they all are just like losing their shit, but they're trying to stick together as like, you know, to make it out alive. And
Yeah.
oh my, and the fucking creatures, whatever the fuck those things are, they are fucking disgusting.
We call them
Nasty.
Redditors.
Oh,
And yes, and those that moment when you like when they're first
Before
introduced,
Yeah, 4chans. 4chan people.
it's like crazy when she's screaming and it's the pan view and then it's like right there and then it's climbing on the fucking walls.
yes.
Like the movie is so beautifully shot with the colors and just how it I don't know, I love it so much. But it's funny you say women empowerment because absolutely, except for Juno, because who fucks their friend's husband and
Yeah.
then something as bad as what happens, like I'm not gonna completely, you know, say what happens, but that and then oh sorry I haven't been around. You're
Well-
sorry? Well, you're riding your fucking friend's
Yeah.
husband's dick and then now he's dead. So like
Yes. And
Right.
then
So the
have
dick's
you-
no longer useful.
no. Have you seen The
Dead dick.
Descent too?
I have not.
I didn't even know
Okay.
there was one.
I'm not gonna lie, it took me years to watch it, but it wasn't. It was fucked up, like because one of the girls gets left in the cave and they go back for her. And let me fucking tell you, girl, I was like, oh my god, it was good. I liked it.
It's not as good as the first one. But
No.
it's like
Yeah.
it's like kind of like it's like Halloween to Halloween 2. It's like, you know, like
Yes.
Halloween 2 is really good, but like it doesn't have that like something it's not, it doesn't hit the same, it hits the same beats, but it doesn't have the same magic.
You're not
Yes.
mad at it. You're not mad at it.
No.
happening.
No,
Yeah.
and it's for me. I guess I was so hesitant to watch The Descent 2 because The Descent 1 The Descent
It's fucking
literally
flawless.
blew me.
Yeah,
Flawless
it is.
Like
It's
It's
very good.
perfect.
it was shocking, and even like when the whole like blood, like where they have to.
Yes.
Oh, this is fucking nasty. I love it. I love it.
I love that part. Like I love the color of the blood with the way the cinematography. It's just
Yes.
that's one movie when I watched it, I was like, fuck yes. Like that got me so amped up for horror. I'm like, more
Yeah.
like this. So yes.
Yeah.
It's
And
one of the best movies. Like it's something you can watch. If you like, it's one of those movies that if you watch it like every few years, it almost feels like you're watching it again for the first time because you forget like the complexities of the dynamics between the characters. And then like that, like, because you always remember the creatures, but what you forget is like, they're not really the worst. Like they're part of the problem, but like, that's not the only problem that they have. And like, that's what makes that movie really good is like, it layers on. And that's the best part of like good creature features, like are not just about the monster. It's about how you create characters in relation to your monster. So like in The Descent, it's like they're just they're a representation of like the maliciousness, like the toxicity of their friendship, right? And like of course this is happening to them, but like it's just there's more to that movie than you will likely remember from it, which makes every time going back to it just so much more enjoyable. And like if someone's ever seen it, it's one of those movies you want to watch with them, and like you just have to be like try not to like look at them when something's happening. Like, oh yeah, this is a good part. I want to watch this part.
Side eye.
That's how I was with my sister-in-law because I showed her. I was so when like you show someone a new movie and you're so excited because you love it and you're like hoping that they love it as much. I showed her The Descent. I showed her The Taking of Deborah Logan. I showed her, and she was like, and we were supremely fucking high. And we watched the trailer. She's like, I don't know. I'm like, we're fucking watching it. And
you don't know, I do.
And strap in and
I feel like every time I watch The Descent, I always forget about at least one jump scare. And it's always like it's refreshing to watch it, like Maddie said, every couple of years because you forget what the fuck happens and you're like, oh fuck, it got me. I wonder if it'll get me again in another 3 years. Like it probably will.
I'm not gonna lie, I always forget Tara Reid's in that movie. 100%. Always forget that.
Yeah, actually you're right.
Is she?
Tara Reid's in The Descent?
Isn't Tara Reid in The Descent?
I think
maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe
she played one of the creatures.
Yeah, well, maybe. Yeah. After all that,
I don't think she is.
All right, don't listen to me then.
Because I'm a Tara Reid girly. Oh, Alex Reid.
There you go. And looks nothing like her. So don't listen to me. I'm clearly a fraud. Don't ever tune into my horror podcast.
That is untrue.
Hashtag cancel.
Yeah, I agree.
Hashtag fired.
Yeah, you got fired again today, Aubrey.
I put my 2 weeks in, so it doesn't matter.
No, don't come back.
All right.
I wish Tara Reid was in The Descent though, because I don't
know why I thought that, man. So
she would be such a loose cannon in that situation. Like, just
See,
imagine Tara Reid
early on and got killed for some reason. Gosh,
she would be. To me, no offense, Mark, because I know you love her, babe, but I think she would be the hussy that slept with the husband.
And that's fine because if I was to be in a scary movie, I'd sleep with everyone's husband. So,
wow, I love that for you.
I'm just warning you right now.
Well. We have been warned. So everyone, hide your husbands.
Hide your husbands, yes.
Mark's on the loose. All right, so now we are getting into the thick of it. The top pick, our number ones. I'm excited. Yes. Aubrey.
It's Tara Reid. No, I'm just kidding. my number one, I went with Pumpkinhead. I fucking love Pumpkinhead.
So good.
Like the creature design's amazing. The movie's a tad corny, but it's like at the same time you kind of understand it. It's like a good creature feature really is a parable, and this thing's a total parable, and it's great. And there's some really good tension scenes, like i.e. the neighbor and stuff when he's like screaming to get in the house. It's like, but it's such a cool creature, and it's really underrated. We talked about Tremors. It's kind of the same thing with Pumpkinhead. It's like not every casual horror fan knows about it, but they should. It's so good.
Yes.
It's so good.
The best creature design. It's probably my top 3 creature designs in horror.
It's definitely up there with like the Xenomorph and like Predator itself, and like definitely, and like he's just this huge prosthetic. It's awesome.
So menacing and like just dark and something that you truly would not ever want to fucking run into. like
No.
ever, you
at
know.
all.
And there's
And,
a
like, the way you
4K
summer
coming
'em,
out from
yeah.
Scream Factory, and it's it finally, like, we're getting a good, like, a great looking version of it.
Fuck yeah.
The sequel's not bad either. Like, it's not great,
No.
but
That was my
it's-
next question. Are the sequels just as good as the first?
I don't
I've
really
only seen
remember
the
the
second
third.
one.
I don't
Yeah, I
really
didn't see the
remember the
third one.
third, but the first and second one are actually both really good.
Yeah.
But the first one's just kind of heartbreaking.
And yeah, the first one's fucking sad too. Like that
Oh,
kid.
heartbreaking, man. Yeah, that kid gets killed early on.
Yes,
Yeah,
that
wasn't doing
that's
shit.
devastating. I know. And it's like, it's so fucking sad, but it makes such a good movie. Like, they don't make movies like they used to, honestly. Like, because look at the plot. And it's just but it works, and it's, I don't know.
It's a careful what
Kiss.
you. It's like a monkey's paw thing, you know. It's
Yeah.
like careful what you wish for, kind of like take on that, but with a twist, right? And the twist just happens to be like a fucking 9 foot tall fucking pumpkin head.
Yeah,
That's true.
a vengeance monster you have to summon. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With some like somehow like they're in Texas, but like the woman they're speaking to is like from the bayou. She's like, oh,
Yeah.
don't summon that magic around here.
Yeah, that's
It's
from
like,
New Orleans, Texas, right?
Yeah. It's like Creole. It's like what?
Yeah, but
Creole
that
accent.
that face, the pumpkin head, like it's just
He's awesome, man. I'm a sucker for big practical effects and prosthetics, and man, like you just know how long that took to make, and
Yeah.
it is a good
Absolutely.
story. And I agree with Jordana. It's just like sometimes, especially when you have a dope ass creature like that, Kiss,
Mhm.
keep it simple, stupid. Like it doesn't have to be that crazy. Like
No.
let the star be the star, and the creature is by far the star of this movie.
Yes. And you have, like, again, I'm such a practical effects hoe. Like, I love practical effects, and like he's just one of the most menacing, like I said, like just creatures, and I love it.
Yeah.
We need more practical.
I would.
creatures.
That's actually a series, or that's actually a franchise that would be ripe for rebooting.
Oh,
Yeah.
Especially if they like did like a prosthetic version, like kind of like they did for Prey.
yes.
You know,
Yep.
like it would be such because the first one's like good. It's like the monster makes that movie way better than the movie actually is.
For sure.
Yes.
And you don't even get that much of the monster. So like there is like this kind of like what keeps that movie going is it's fucking brief, like it's good, well paced.
Mhm.
You know,
Yes.
it's got enough action happening throughout where like you're still engaged, but that's a perfect thing to reboot and like make it a brisk 90 minutes. Fucking just do the same kind of thing. Like someone does something to somebody else and they don't want to take revenge on them. Boom. You don't need to get too fancy with it. It's like they say about chefs, you know, like good chefs don't know how to make hard things really well. They know how to make easy things really, really fucking well.
If
You're
you
like,
can
that's
cook
the
an
hard
egg
shit.
really well, you can be a chef.
Add like gore to it, like add a gore factor, like an Evil Dead, like get that like that gritty,
Like him ripping
gory-
a body in half and shit like that. You know, like more of that. Yeah.
Make
But
sure his
not-
knees and elbows bend.
I
That's all I
just-
ask.
I think too though, like if they're gonna remake something like that, like I'm okay with like the Evil Dead aspect, but don't overdo it. Like
Yes.
don't, you know what I mean? Just because like it's a great like pumpkin. I feel like Pumpkinhead's like it's forgotten. It's not as iconic as
and it's
all
sad.
these other, but don't make it more mainstream than what it is. Like leave it still as a hidden gem.
A good remake is exactly what Mark's saying. It honors the original, but does something totally different, which is like one of the hardest things you can possibly do. So when it's done, that's one of the reasons remakes are awesome, i.e. the new Texas Chainsaw compared to the old one, stuff like that.
Yes.
Same with Pumpkinhead. Like make it a little grittier, make it a little darker, make it a little more intense. And that's all we need.
But keep that look the same. Like that's the one
Yes.
thing like you can't fuck with. Is like because like I know that like people are like, oh well, if we want to, like, because this simple answer to doing something different is just changing the look of the monster.
Yeah.
And like that is not like that design is just too fucking good. Like if you want to improve upon it by like adding more detail to things, like
Yes.
hey, go for that. Like totally fine. But just keep that.
Make them less
intact.
stiff. That's all you have to do. Just make them less stiff.
Kind of like Hellraiser. Like I was a fan of the Hellraiser remake.
Oh
The
yeah.
Hulu version. I
liked
was a fan of it. Of course, it's not as like brilliant as the original.
Right.
But I thought they did it justice with the costume.
No movies
At
are.
least
Mark.
they
It's
tried
okay.
something.
No
Yeah.
movies are.
At least they tried it. You know what I mean? At
Yeah.
least they tried to make it something different. but along the same lines. You have to give them credit for that, whether you like it or not. I mean, I think it's, all up
Well,
to your
Well,
personal
Hellraiser's
taste.
perfect because there's really only about like 4 good original ones, and then the rest are just really hard to watch sometimes.
I
But
didn't realize how many
there are
Hellraiser
so many. Like those rights must.
movies.
Clive Barker was not doing well. I think he was just kind of selling the rights.
No,
here and
I
there.
don't think he got he's not involved in any of those.
That's what I'm saying.
Dimension
Is like he
Films
must
own the
have just
rights.
boom.
Yeah.
And so it's the same. So you'll notice that around the same time when all those Hellraiser sequels coming out, you also got a lot of Children of the Corn sequels.
True.
It's
Yeah.
because Dimension Films owned the rights to both of them, but there was a stipulation that they had to create a new film like every year, every 2 years, or something like that. So that's why they essentially all the movies that the Hellraiser movies feel like true crime, or they feel like thrillers with Pinhead thrown into them. It's because they weren't actually written to be Hellraiser movies. They just said, "Hey, you need to put fucking Pinhead in this fucking thing."
Just make a fucking another serial
Yeah.
killer.
There was one Pinhead. I don't know if you guys know Tim and Eric.
Oh yeah.
The one looked like Tim Heidecker. I was like, who the fuck?
Yeah, he's
casted
like a
Tim
little
Heidecker as
chubby and
Pinhead?
stuff, and you're like,
Yes.
There's
And,
one that goes to space that's fun, and then there's one where he's in the
Hellraiser.
internet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hellraiser's the best. It's not the best one. That's fucking absurd.
I
No
know
one
what
would
you
ever say
mean
that.
though.
But
Like if we're
it's really
talking like
fucking good.
if we're talking the back ends, after
Yeah.
3. That's
And
kinda
for
what
and
I'm-
for a horror franchise that goes to space, that's the second best one.
yeah.
Yes. We need more space horror. We
If
need
they
more-
do it right,
Yes,
they
we
do it right. Like
Yeah.
you either do it like Jason X, where it's like we're not going to take this fucking
So-
seriously at all,
Yeah.
or you do it like Hellraiser Bloodline, where it's like, all right, we're going to try and weave this into a story that kind of makes sense, or you do it like Leprechaun in Space, where you just say fuck it all, we're launching this fucker into space and making a movie about it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I love space movies. I do, but please just don't give us I feel like we
Space
do
in
need more.
space.
No,
Halloween
no,
in space.
no.
Ghost space in space.
I know.
It has
But-
a ring to it.
A good space movie is needed. Like a good fucking horror
Yes.
oh my god, that'd be amazing.
There's a pretty decent hidden
an
gem
Event
one
Horizon.
that came out, Life, with Ryan Reynolds,
That's
Jake
good.
Gyllenhaal.
That's
It's
pretty
a
good.
kind of it's a pretty good
Did I see that?
thriller space movie.
I've
Check
never
it
seen
out.
that.
It's
pretty good.
intense.
It is. That's the thing. It's
Yeah.
very intense.
And it's short. It's like 90 minutes too. Like it's a really quick in and out kind of movie too. So
Oh, is that what the fucking
Yeah.
sperm thing killing everyone?
I can't
Yes.
really remember the creature.
it's
I
kind of
just
like
remember
it looks like
the
a jellyfish kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Oh. Yeah,
I've seen that.
I vote for more.
Technically a creature feature.
Yeah. More alien set.
And shout out, honorable mention, Underwater. I didn't mind that one either with Cthulhu.
That was a good one too.
Like I really like that twist at the end. Of being
I love that
Cthulhu.
movie. That's the one
Hey,
with
what
the
is it
girl
called?
from Twilight.
Kristen
Uh,
Stewart.
Underwater.
Underwater. So imagine Alien, but they're like where the Titanic thing was that blew
Yes.
up. Like they're so
Oh.
underwater, it's like pitch black, and
Oh,
it's
shit.
it's really good.
That's
It's-
and
I did
there's
like
one scene where it crashes and she's
And
brushing
the
her.
pressure starts coming
Yes.
in and stuff. Yeah,
It's great.
crazy.
I saw it
that's-
in theaters too.
And that's the awesome thing about
Oh.
space and underwater movies like that. It's like even if you escape, where the fuck you going? Like you know
Exactly.
what
and
I
that's
mean?
what I love about those movies is the ocean and water is scary as it is, like with Jaws, but then when you get fucking deep in the sea and there's that's terrifying. So that's what I love about underwater movies and space. Just fucking space is beautiful, but it's scary.
Mhm.
Yeah. And
You
that's why I
rather be-
picked Pumpkinhead, because there's no water in that movie. It is a straight sandbox, that whole movie.
Yeah. Definitely a
Great
tough
choice.
pull.
Yes.
Okay. So since somebody picked The Descent, no, a great choice.
Sorry.
I consider this creature feature, and I hope you guys don't hate me. And we talked about it because I hated it when I first watched it.
Oh boy.
Any guesses?
Hated it when you
Hated it.
first watch it.
And you guys literally judged the fuck out of me on Instagram Live when I said it.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Is it Oh my god. Why am I drawing a blank?
And you guys were like, "What?"
I
Oh my
vaguely
God.
remember this.
I know. And when you say it, I'm gonna be like, God damn it. Just tell us. It's killing me.
Okay. I think Trick or Treat
Oh yeah,
is
okay,
creature
yeah.
feature.
Well, for sure, there's creatures in there.
Yes.
There's I had a werewolf movie. There's werewolves in there.
Okay.
What would
And
you consider Sam? Sam's
that's
a
why I
creature.
picked it, because Sam is fucking cute, but he's fucking gross when he takes that mask off.
Mhm.
And also too,
Actual pumpkin head.
Yeah,
Yes.
there you go.
The whole, because I know it's like, what do they call it when it's different and like anthology?
Anthology.
Anthology, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm a sucker
Like,
for them.
Me too, I love them.
I'm not a sucker for it, so that's why I was like ill. But when I saw it, I was like, wow, this is great. The whole like when the girls are going to like the party and they transform into the wolves, like
Love it.
so
Great
beautiful.
twist. Great
So
Anna
twist.
Paquin.
beautiful. Yes.
Yeah.
The Rock
Um,
Quarry story is still like that's so fucking
Oh
creepy.
man.
Mhm.
So creepy.
And then the bus driver's Brian Cox at the end. Like I just love how everything ties together. That's another reason we
Yes.
talked on live mortuary collections. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
They all kind of intertwine a little bit, and it's really cool.
It's
And-
fun when they all intertwine.
Yes.
Yes, and I know, I guess I don't know. I know some people may not consider it, but overall, it's a creature, and
100%
again,
it's a creature
I would-
feature.
Yeah.
it's a great. It just how all the stories just come together. Like, I don't know how to really just say why it's a great movie, but overall, the visuals are great too.
Yes.
You have to kind of watch
So
it. There's
good.
so many moving parts, like Mark's saying. Like it sounds weird on paper, but it's so good.
Perfect when you
just
watch it.
watch it. It flows immaculately.
Yes,
And that's like
You
another.
can smell the
quintessential-
Halloween on that movie.
Oh
I was
yes.
just gonna say it's a
Yes.
quintessential Halloween movie. Like you have to watch it every spooky season, if not for
yes.
Halloween.
And
So good.
one thing I'm very proud to say is I got to experience the haunted house at Universal Studios
You
for Horror
did?
Nights, and it smelled like fucking candy in the house. It was
I love it.
so cool. And it was actually one of those houses that weren't so popular because people
Mhm.
didn't know what the movie was. But as a fan, like at the time, I was already a fan of the movie, so I was like, "Fuck yeah!" There's gonna be and there's all these little Sams running around. It was
Oh, I love
so beautifully done. They do have a reveal of his face in the haunted house, which was great. But yeah, I trick or treat.
Was that like 2019
20?
or 2018 or something like that?
I think it was 2018.
Yeah, I went to that one. That was a really good maze.
Yeah,
That's
and
It was
a
the year they
house
did
that-
Halloween 4, right?
Halloween 4 and the Poacher Guys.
Yeah.
Damn it!
Let me
what-
just
Mark,
tell
we,
you-
we might have ran into each other and hadn't even known it yet.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because one thing I loved too. I'm sorry, I'm going off subject.
You
In the
good?
Poacher Guy's house, it was raining in that fucking house.
Mm.
And let me just tell you, it was so good. I fucking loved it. And then the Halloween 4 haunted house, Michael.
Those three houses, American Werewolf in London, and even though it was like the newer thing, are houses that I wish that I into. So I'm happy that you got to experience it, but I'm
Yes.
jealous.
So I'm sorry to go off subject, but yes, Trick or Treat.
You good?
Period. Watch
Love
it.
it. Great pick.
Thank you.
Yes. Maddie, what do you have
Okay.
for your number one?
Mine's super unoriginal, but it's really important. It's 1954's Godzilla.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen the original Godzilla, like it's a solid horror movie. Like people get Godzilla kind of twisted with like some of the goofiness of the later movies, but like the first Godzilla movie is fucking terrifying. Like it is like deadpan serious, like Tokyo getting fucking wrecked. And like it is like they are not like Godzilla's not fucking around. And it's such, I don't know, it's a really impressive movie to me because I think given the time it was made,
time,
what it was
yeah.
saying at the time about like the commentary around the radiation left after World War II and the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, like
Yeah.
there's a lot about like it's so much more than I think the series has become because of the iconic aspect of the monster itself. Like it kind of lost the ecological component of it. But also like Godzilla's not our friend, you know, like he was there to fuck us up, you know, like
Yeah, like,
he's not
Scared of
like
him.
yeah, like we're not on the same side, and like he's what we get, you know, for fucking up, you know, the world with like fucking nuclear energy and shit. So but anyway, there's the rest of the movies are a lot of fun, but that first one is a solid monster movie. And
Yeah.
I know this is like blasphemy to some people, but like I'm not a big King Kong guy. Like I was never big into the original one. don't really like any of the remakes. Like I kind of like the Skull Island one, but like it's just a big monster movie, right?
It's all right.
So
Yeah, just
Yeah.
action movie.
but I fucking
Yes.
love Godzilla. Like I've got these little fucking 8x8 little drawings that this artist made of like Godzilla doing cute little daytime shit. I gotta get it framed. Like I can get a Godzilla tattoo. I fucking love that guy.
Yeah.
Are
He's
you a
badass.
fan? Are you a fan of the 2014?
No. But I need to watch it again because I've watched it twice, and both times I was just kind of this is kind of boring. Like so an example, like I like Cloverfield, but I feel like Godzilla could have been like if you did Cloverfield Godzilla, if you did Godzilla Cloverfield style, that's what I want out of a Godzilla movie. Like, and that's the thought what they were trying to do a little bit, but it didn't it was just kind of boring. Like it's just like, oh, he's just kind of moving around the ocean a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I used to love the Godzilla animated series that was on WB for a while. It was so good. So good. Now that, what was it, 01 movie with Matthew Broderick was not.
Yes. I was gonna
Okay.
say that one.
It's not a good movie, but it is a fun movie. Like it's
Oh,
not a good
time
Godzilla
capsule.
movie.
It's a time
but, like,
capsule of a movie.
And that Puff Daddy like Jimmy Page fucking song that they released, like that's a banger, man.
Yeah, that's true.
That was a banger.
That song. What is that? What is it called? I can hear it. What is it?
I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
I can hear it too.
What is that? But what
I'm
what
gonna
does Puffy
find it.
say?
All of a sudden, I
What
get
does
like
he say?
Nas lyrics in my head. I'm like, it wasn't Hail Mary. That's fucking. It's Come With Me is what it's called.
Yes. That's oh my God. Is that Tupac or is that Biggie?
All right, can you guys hear this if I play this? Can you guys?
No, I don't hear anything yet.
Yeah.
Go look it up, guys. That was back when like movies had like so much awesome promotion. Like even all the stuff
Yes.
at DK, like the toys that were in their Happy Meals for it, like total absolute.
I really want to say like my opinion about Godzilla, but like I don't want to do
Please
that.
speak
Mark,
freely.
this is a safe space.
Yes.
Okay.
No judgment.
So I already Aubrey's already looking at me like, what, bitch? Look at him.
Never.
I'm
Honestly,
waiting.
I'm more of a Kong fan than a Godzilla fan. That's
Okay,
just been me
okay,
growing up.
See?
Okay, so then I'm gonna say
Different
this.
strokes.
Yeah.
I'm more of a Jurassic Park kind of girl over Godzilla. I grew up with Jurassic Park, so when I saw when I was shown Godzilla, I was like,
Man.
It's a T-Rex that can blow fire.
I know,
It's
you're
like-
right.
But see, I'm like Mark. Like I kind of got ruined because the first ever Godzilla movie I ever watched was the Matthew Broderick one. Because like my family never showed me it, and like I was introduced to that one, the animated series, and then I was like, oh, it goes back. And now that I'm like a pretentious son of a bitch, like I love all the older ones, and like some of the ones with like fighting Mothra and stuff are some of my favorite. But
Yes.
I think
Shin
this-
Godzilla. Don't sleep on Shin Godzilla. That's a pretty solid, like recent one.
Godzilla.
I think the second Godzilla they did, not the 2014 one, but the one
Yes.
that King of Monsters was a lot better. It was a lot more
Is that
fun.
with Millie Bobby Brown?
Yeah.
the one
Yes,
with
yes. She's right.
I liked Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
think
mind
so.
it.
I'm
I
not
didn't
gonna-
mind it.
The original, the 2014 Godzilla, it was cute for what it was. I think it was just like rush.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you have to do Godzilla justice. You know what I mean? Like you can't just make him into this like, and just it be basic. You know what I mean? Like you have to have Godzilla, be fucking terrifying because he is. I mean, like Maddie said, he's not on our side. Like he's against
Yeah.
us.
I remember
And-
seeing Godzilla 2000 like a long time ago.
Mhm.
That was so good. It's
that was-
corny as fuck, but it's fun. Like it's fun.
Yeah, and again, like you said, Jordana, and what Maddie said, he's not our friend. I mean,
It's
Of
not like he's
course.
ever going to convert to be the good guy. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Anti-hero.
Yes.
he's tearing
That's it.
shit down.
Like that's
Absolutely.
like the part I think that like they missed in the 2014 one is like he's fighting this like threat like that. It's like everyone thinks Godzilla's the bad guy, but no, he's actually the good guy. It's like no, like
No.
fuck that. Like let's like Godzilla should fuck us up a little bit. Like we're not gonna take that guy down. Come on.
To me, like Godzilla's like us to ants. Like he doesn't fuck with us
Yeah.
because so insignificant to them. Like I don't go out of my way to fuck with ants, but if they get in my way, you're gonna get fucked with. I'm a pee
But
on
baby Godzillas would because kids fuck with ants.
Yeah, that's true.
Aubrey,
That's
you
true.
pee on ants?
The ant mounds. I mean, if they fuck around and find out, I mean, I'm not like
Fuck around,
actively
find out.
seeking out. Like
I'm gonna
I don't
pee
walk
down your
around having to
hole.
piss all day and just like
No.
go look for ants. But if I happen to have to pee and I see a
And
lot
you
of
see an
ants
ant-hole?
and they're too close to me, I'm gonna pee on them.
Fucking
Just
going
wait
on.
until Ant Talk hears about this.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say PETA shows up in my door and just beats the shit out of me with like clubs and stuff.
Just
But-
an ant
Such a
pees
good
on
movie.
you.
Like,
It's like I
if you-
can't even feel it.
Well, if they pee on me, I'll just be I'll send them the bill later. You know,
Oh.
You guys-
that's on the menu.
I got a movie idea. So Aubrey gets like radioactive somehow, and he fucking pees on the anthill, and then the ants turn into these like huge fucking beasts, and then they.
love
What was that? Was that movie called Them with the really
Yeah.
big ants? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do a remake of Them.
Yes.
And
but
while
I
I'm
want-
peeing on it, I'll be like firefighter, wee wee wee,
And
and
have
she's
You
you
know,
like,
who did a good job of ants. Like, was Honey I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah.
Like the scene when
I
like they're like going through like the backyard and shit. Like,
I love that. They had MGM Studios in Orlando when I was a kid. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
got to go through. Yeah, and I fucking loved
the
it.
dog
because that was,
sneezes
like,
on you and shit.
Yeah, it was like my secret dream to like want to be shrunk because I love that movie so goddamn much.
It's a cute movie.
I love it. I love Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
Yes, I was.
So ridiculous. Yes. Okay. Well, I guess that leaves me with my number one, and it's Jaws. No, I'm just kidding. I'm,
I literally believed you. I was like, I knew it.
granted, like Jaws, I could talk about Jaws at any given point and still talk the same shit that I always talk. But I won't tonight. I'm gonna pick 2016's The Void.
ooh, I like that pick.
Love
This
that movie.
movie, I didn't know anything about this movie when I saw the title. Turned it on, and it is crazy, literally from start
Yeah.
to fucking finish. Like the opening, the door busts open. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give it away because I'm advocating for people to see The Void. Like it is such a good movie. It's very reminiscent of Cronenberg, Carpenter, Clive Barker. There's just all these elements throughout the movie where you're like, yes, and it's just, it's crazy. Like even the dudes with the white hoods and the triangle cutout, it's creepy. There's this one scene where they're all standing outside and they pull out their knives simultaneously, and it is beautifully shot. I fucking love this movie.
Okay, I'm sorry. I've never heard this movie before in my life.
What?
You
And I'm
need,
Him to the T.
yes, there's
Mark
body
loves
horror.
horror.
Do I really need? It's on Peacock, so I will literally
if it's
watch
on
it this
Peacock,
weekend.
Here's
It's
what
on
you're gonna
TV
Definitely
too.
do.
go watch it.
Okay.
You're gonna line up a double feature. You're gonna make
Yes.
yourself some popcorn. You're gonna get your
Okay.
favorite adult beverage. You're gonna get your snacks, whatever you want. You're gonna put on The Void, and then you're gonna put on Malum because they make a great fucking double feature.
Man, I like that idea. I really
still
do.
need to
Malum's
watch-
the shit, man. Like I'm telling
need
you,
to
that
watch
movie's
that.
so good. I just
Yeah.
rewatched it last week. I was like, fuck, I forgot how good this was.
I still need to watch that, and I feel very like behind and
Don't
like
feel
horrible.
behind because I haven't watched that one yet. But I watched. Did you watch the other one, the original?
Last
Uh,
Shift.
Yes, and
Okay.
I do like The Last Shift. I do.
If you
enjoy
like
that
Last
one. So I
Shift, you're
heard
going to like Malum. Like that's
Okay.
Yes.
that's what I tell people.
everyone
The
said how great this
Void.
one is, but The
The
Void is
Void.
like it literally came out of left field, and it's super sad because there's like backstories to it. Like there's these different layers, and then on top of that, you have amazing creatures, you have gore, you have intensity. It's just, I don't know, it's fucking beautiful. And I
Is
love
it scary?
There's moments where you're like, oh fuck.
The scare and terror kind of comes from the intensity of the movie.
Okay,
Yeah.
love
Yes.
that.
Like Mandy,
And it
kind of
does-
like when
Yeah.
Mandy kind of like intense.
Yeah.
Love-
Yeah. And it literally does not let up. Like you start the movie and it's super intense, and then it's just
The whole
Literally.
time.
yes.
Oh my god.
It doesn't stop for cigarettes at all. It just
No,
kind
and
of
then-
goes.
There's
The music's
also,
really fucking good too. Like the score is really, really good.
yes.
Did this
The-
go to theaters?
No, I don't think so. Is it a
No.
Shutter original?
No,
I think
it
I
was
saw
like-
it on Shutter, and that's like the first time I ever saw or
It
heard
was.
about
It
it.
got like a limited release, like one of those like, oh, we're gonna put out in a few places, and then it kind of got picked up big on DVD and Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would have. This is a movie that's top of my list that I wish I could see in the theater because I think, like with the sound and with the big screen would be fucking beautiful. But even the guy from The Brood, which I love, and I can't think of his name, he's the sheriff in it, and I think it's just perfect because you feel like this Cronenberg feel to the movie. So I love that he's
How
in
have
it.
I not seen this fucking movie?
It's easy to miss that one, man. It kind of is it's starting to get the traction it should have.
I know,
Yeah.
but obviously, like, we've been doing Core 4 for like a hot minute, and you guys are barely telling me about it.
We can't tell you everything. You gotta keep showing back up, man. We gotta
How
bring
dare
you.
you, Maddie?
We gotta bring that ass back here. If we tell you all the good shit, you'll never come back.
Yeah.
Have
This
you guys
ass
seen
is always-
Baskin?
Yes.
I don't
Okay, so
think
Baskin's like the Turkish version of The Void, but like,
Okay.
yeah, it's fucking wild. Like that's a good one to if you want a triple feature. If you're feeling super saucy, if you're like fry me up and shove the horror in me.
Ew,
And
Baskin looks fucking
Yes.
gross.
Baskin is like a trip. Baskin is like
it's
It's
very
giving-
Turkish.
It's giving
Yeah.
inbred.
Turkish delight.
Like the
Like
characters giving
Baskin's
inbred.
crazy. Like for that's what we should do as a foreign film list because like Baskin, Terrified, fucking like all these. There's these movies that you just don't really hear too much
There's
about.
this one that I forget. It's called like the Indian version of Hellraiser, but it's
Oh, the bone collector, bone masher. Gosh, why can't I think? Hassoum.
Yes,
I'm
that's
gonna
on
find
Shudder.
It's like Hassoum, the bone something.
Maddie, we
bone.
really have to do that whole like viewing thing where we watch a movie all together.
Okay, so
And-
funny you mentioned that because I literally have like 5 tabs like saved that I like have reserved and like how to set this up. And I even set up like a little search. I did like 1/5 of it, but then I stopped for some reason. So it's a good reminder to
It's coming.
Fucking
It's
get-
coming.
Yes,
get
we
back
need to
to
do
it.
that.
Yeah, but great recommendation because now I'm like really fucking intrigued. Just the cover of the void, like the blue, it looks so like beautifully like done and
Great
with
title. Great
yeah,
title.
it's just
There's visuals in it, Mark, that just like randomly throughout that are so gorgeous, but you'll see them and you're like, what the fuck does it mean? And it all ties in at the end. The music is like Maddie said, it's mesmerizing. Like I literally talk about this movie whenever I can, and sometimes I put it in like posts for hidden gems. But
Sure.
I
this
think
movie-
too the thing that catches my eye is it says from the executive producer of The Witch, which The Witch is for me it's a hit and miss, but the visuals on The Witch were so fucking good that
yes.
yeah.
I am so thirsty for Robert Eggers' take on Nosferatu. I cannot wait because he's the guy that did The Witch, and you know how good that movie's going to be. If he can make a witch movie that good, just wait till he does vampires, man.
Yes. When is that supposed to come out?
I don't think there's a release date, only a website for it, but god damn it, am I excited for it.
That and Guillermo del Toro is supposedly doing
Oh yes.
his Universal Monsters, and that got me super excited.
I don't
There's a
want to get
reason to
too
keep
excited
going.
because I don't want to be disappointed.
I know
True.
that's how I feel. But
But how could you be disappointed? I don't think he's going to put Tom Cruise in a mummy movie.
No, not by him. I mean, just more like I don't want it to like not happen.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
I
come to
feel that.
fruition.
Yes,
come to
but it
fruition,
needs to. Like those are the types of movies that I want to see. That needs to come out. We need them. But guys, I think that we literally crushed the list. I think the choices were immaculate, perfect. I think we could go on and on about them, but I'm excited for Mark to watch The Void.
No, I'm definitely okay. So my priorities right now are The Void and Species.
Yes,
Yes.
That's a good-
I
that's
do
a
want to
good
go back
choice.
and watch Species.
I do want to watch Pan's Labyrinth, just because I don't know. I'm intrigued. Like it sound like the title, like Pans Labarnes. It looks so good. So we'll see. We'll see.
Mark,
Mark, never change, man.
We'll
Please,
see.
I love you
never
so
change.
much. I do.
We're adding it. We're adding it.
I fucking love it.
Yes.
Okay, so this was an awesome episode. I'm so glad that you guys took your time to come hang with me and us in this amazing setting. We'll have to do it again. We'll have to think of something cool to do, which I'm sure we will. Do you guys have any projects, anything coming up that you want to plug? Tell everyone about.
When is this episode coming out?
This will be dropping Monday.
Okay, if you guys are listening on Monday, on Wednesday, the Core 4 is going live to talk
yeah.
about, what was the topic again?
Inspirational horror.
Inspiration horror.
Impactful horror.
Horror movies that impacted our love for horror.
Yes.
So if you want to hear Aubrey talk about pretentious movies,
Yes.
aka
Hell yeah. Sit down,
Yes.
strap in, and
what's
fall
that one movie
asleep.
that he always brings up?
The Munsters. What a cinematic masterpiece.
Yes,
Just
that.
kidding.
And we're gonna have a very great time. So just pull up. grab a
Okay.
chair.
Toombad. That's the fucking name of the Indian Hellraiser movie.
Okay.
Too bad.
Yes.
Wait,
It's
spell that. I'm
spelled
dumb.
Tumbbad.
Okay,
It's
that's not
fucking
even what I was
amazing.
thinking. That's not what I was thinking at all.
Too bad. Is there any place that we can find that?
I think it's on Amazon Prime still.
Oh,
Amazon,
Amazon
maybe.
Prime. Right.
Oh,
It
this
is. Yeah,
fucking
it is on
creepy.
Prime still.
Nice.
It is.
I have-
It is actually. It is pretty fucking creepy. Like, very well done.
Do they kill kids?
If so, Mark's
maybe
watching
eat?
it right
I was
away.
gonna say, that is number one now on the list.
I think they might eat kids. I don't know.
Okay,
I forget- I
I'm
don't
here for
remember.
it because fuck them
Yeah.
kids. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I
fuck
love
them
y'all's
kids.
kids.
Yeah.
I love y'all's kids.
No, no,
fuck
like
them
actual children, but like in
Worst
movies,
thing
those
ever.
kids can get fucked. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exact. Period.
Honestly, I would rather see like a Alex Kittner than a fucking poor dog get killed.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. I hate when dogs
Yeah.
get killed. There's no point.
No
That's
comment.
true.
Kids. Well,
But yeah, everyone tune in Wednesday to listen to the Core 4 chit
Yes.
chat.
of course. Talk about chime in what impactful horror has, has
And again, there's no
impacted
right or
you.
wrong answer. What impacted you? Like, it could be something incredibly dumb, like I'll talk about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if we like
I'm
Cerulean
excited for
film
that.
and it impacted me, my love for horror, fuck off. Like, I love a Cerulean film.
I feel like we talk about this so much that I should watch it, but I will never.
I will
Okay,
say it's
Okay.
so over the top with its like grotesqueness and stuff that's like it's not as offensive as like when you read it. Like when you read it, you're like, Jesus Christ, they do that. It's not as intense as like a Martyrs like we watched.
Yeah.
It's more like so over the top, kind of like how Terrifier 2 sometimes is just
yes.
so over the top that it's like it's not as like scary as you think, but it's still heavy. It's a heavy fucking movie.
So speaking of heavy, before we leave, did anyone read Playground? Because I heard that buzz going around that and how, and now hang on, I gotta look up who wrote it, but it's a book and it's pretty much like a Saw take on kids.
Ah.
And there's like this, I gotta find it and I'll send it to you guys. But like pages 40 through 46 is like some of the nastiest shit that's ever been written. Like,
Oh, I'm in. Is it an audiobook? Because I listen to
people say that
'Cause
they've
I'm
listened
dumb.
to it,
Okay.
but hang on, I gotta find it before.
And I just want to like say something really quick.
Go ahead.
Me and Aubrey really don't. That's not our favorite film. A Serbian film is not our favorite film.
No,
We talked about it on torture porn.
yeah, because
Um,
you can't not talk about it
Yeah,
when we're
so
talking torture porn.
please do not cancel me and don't unfollow me. Please don't.
I mean, no one should ever do that because of your movie taste.
Period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like whatever.
I mean, I'm
Um,
about to literally review Pan's Labyrinth. So
Tell me how that movie is. I've never seen that one.
well, it's called Pan's Labyrinth, and it's really good.
And lobotomy.
It's great.
Mark, can I just tell you how much I fucking love you? Because I do.
That's so funny.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I love
yeah.
you. But yeah.
Aaron Beauregard's Playground, and the book title or the cover is a kid standing on a slide in rainbow color, and it's all blood and guts and intestines.
Nice.
But
Some
apparently this is
goosebumps.
like the Serbian film / like extreme horror version, but in book form.
It says 3 low-income families have been given a handsome retainer to join for a day at a cliffside estate. All the parents must do to collect the rest of the money is they allow their children to test out the revolutionary playground equipment. But there's a reason the structure in the bowels of her Gothic castle have taken so long to develop. They've never meant to see the light of day.
Yeah, fucks them up. So I wanted to pick your guys' brains and see if you guys heard about it, because I'm like tempted to read it, but I read like part of page 42 and it's fucking disgusting, and it has nothing to do with kids. It's a mother and a daughter. Ugh.
It's looked like this guy is like a pretty like this is his shtick, like his writing style is like super like intense, gory shit. So I'm gonna give this a shot.
And they say that it's the reading the whole book is the payoff. It really, once you get past the hard parts, it's a really decent story and a good book. So
Aubrey, do you read?
I mean, I can, not very well, but I mean,
I was gonna say. Well, I'm just asking because again, I'm
is it because I'm in Missouri, man? Like,
no,
what's up?
oh my god,
Jesus,
Rhode
man.
Island.
Just because we recorded, Wrong Turn here, and that's a documentary. That's not a.
I'm an audiobook girly,
Me
so
too. If I do,
I have to listen.
full disclosure, if you listen this long, I'm dyslexic with ADHD, so it's very hard for me to read. So I have to audiobook that shit. Otherwise, I'm reading it. I'm like, why is there a golden doodle here? Oh, wait, there is none. Why am I thinking about a golden doodle? What am I doing? Am I reading a book?
So let's
the best part about having ADHD is tracing how you got to where you are from where your head started. It's fascinating.
Yes.
Or planning what you're going to do for the week and never doing it, and hating yourself for not doing the plan you made.
Period.
And stressing about that said plan that you just never do.
Absolutely.
I think we should book club Playground.
I think we should too.
We should all read it.
If it's on audiobook, I'm so in.
If the four of us have never done something, like heard of it, seen it, read it, I think it would be fun to do it collectively.
I'm looking now for the audiobook because not my erotic novel coming up. I got into erotic novels, and girl, this shit is good. Okay.
Mark doesn't love horror. Mark loves an erotic novel.
Yes.
Erotic Mark.
Oh my god, Mom, if you're listening, I'm so sorry you had to hear that. Okay.
All right, look, I gotta go read.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, anyone else want to plug anything coming up?
I got nothing.
No, I got some podcasts in the works. I'll be joining Aaron the Bland. He's very funny. Go check him out. Very fun sense of humor. So go check him out. We're going to do a discussion on characters that should have been final girls but weren't. So it's kind of fun. Stretching all his idea, give him all the credit. And then I'll also be doing a podcast coming up with Where the Weirdos Meet, and we are doing our top 10 favorite horror movies before the 70s. So very excited to talk about that.
That's awesome.
Going to be a lot of Vincent Price on my list. I'll tell you that for free.
Fuck yeah.
Nice.
I'll be looking forward to listening to those episodes.
Yeah, I love that.
But all right, well, guys. Well, everyone, thank you for tuning in. I'm going to have everyone's social links in the description. So make sure you like, follow, and subscribe if you have not already to these amazing people that I can call friends and the Core Four. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and have a great rest of your night.
Bye.
Bye. Love you.
Love you all.